There we go. Let's fix that up just a little bit, why don't we? Scoot me over the other way. There we go. That fits better. Hello, everyone. Gather round and let me spin you a tale or two. Today will be just a very simple stream. Thank you for those of you who are coming in. I am going to be streaming once again the Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader, gifted to me by someone very kind over the holidays. We will be continuing that campaign. And right where we left off on the bridge as we just finished the 4-hour-long prologue. And I will also be going over a few other things as we are playing, and may even stop every now and then to discuss and show you all portions and readings from the Rogue Trader book, the official RPG that the game is based on. Now, I never got to actually run campaigns in this setting before, but I was able to for a very same system for Death Watch. I ran the campaign for this for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's mostly just Space Marines jumping around doing stuff. It was a lot of great fun and such. But I started gathering people for a campaign for Rogue Trader, and it just kind of fell through. But it still like got so much interesting stuff about characters and careers and all the stuff they can do and the adventures and such. And a lot of the stuff that you will see in the Rogue Trader game is actually based entirely within the book. Like the Coronis Expanse that you're in is the whole setting for Rogue Trader. One of the main stops that we'll be going to is Footfall, a major station, which is mostly praised in the book. So I am very excited to see how this goes. I'm hoping everyone can hear me just fine, and in a moment I hope you can all hear the game's capture and everything. We will be continuing the adventures of Edmant Von Valancius. Alright. Slow the game. Now, there is little bits and pieces of dialogue that is actually, like, has voice acting for it, but it seems like a good majority of it will be spoken by just me. I will do a little bit of fun voices for the characters here and there. Let's have fun with it. And please, feel free to chime in with chat. I don't have optimal setup yet, but I do have my phone with me to see what you guys are saying in chat, and I will be occasionally checking. If you have questions or concerns or lore implications or anything like that, I will help explain everything. Alright, we are back into the game. I am Edmant Von Valancius. I am, for my character, my archetype is soldier. I did start over, I will say, because I originally started as officer, but it didn't quite fit in with the character I was set up to play as. So instead, as an Astra Militarum lieutenant or Imperial Guard, I decided to go with soldier. So I'd have more shooting from the back and giving orders and such from the back. So I did respect that, but other than that, I am still going into this game with you guys mostly blind. So we'll talk to Voxmaster Victus, who doesn't have a voice at this time. A thin, pale woman stands out among the rest of the crew. There's a thick bundle of cables coming out of the back of her skull and disappearing under her ceremonial garment. You see the grate of quietly humming Vox where her mouth should be. The woman sees you and bows her head in respect. Ah, hold on. Thank you. I appreciate that. Knew that didn't work, so... There we go. Is that working now? Thank you, beautiful moments, Brevin. And you can hear the game just as well? Alright, wonderful. There is a thick bundle of cables coming out from the back of her skull. This is my portrait. It does cut off a little bit because I do need to edit that a little bit more, but that is the person I am talking to's portrait. The woman sees you and bows her head in a respectful greeting. How may I serve you, Lord Captain? Remind me of who you are? Voxmaster Octavius Victus Sura Otta of the Ptolemon dynasty, the current Voxmaster serving aboard your vessel. In accordance with the Seneschal's orders, I assume this duty immediately. Ah, that is a good point. Let me fix that really quick. I should just put myself over here. And can I flip myself? I should absolutely be able to. There we go. Flip. There we are. Now, it will sometimes block some of my options for speaking, but I'll speak out those options when they come up. So, Voxmaster Octavius Victus Suri Otta of the Ptolemon dynasty, the current Voxmaster serving aboard your vessel. In accordance with the Seneschal's orders, I assume this duty immediately upon the demise of the esteemed Voxmaster Septimus, who was my grandfather. Vox is basically short-range communication. It allows communication via, it's basically radio inside the ship, comm from ship to ship, and comm from planet to ship, and vice versa. But if it goes faster distances and such, you'll need astropaths, which are psychers, which I'll get into that later. What are the Vox Master's duties? I am the ears and the voice of this void ship. I supervise several dozen officers and 3 times that number of support personnel. We receive, send, encrypt, and decode all incoming and outgoing messages through the ship's internal and external channels. We also ensure clean communications and the optimal efficiency of the crew's Voxcasters. Alright. If you ever want to know what worries and concerns your crews are harboring, what your subjects are whispering about in local networks after their watches, and what their leaders are clamoring about over shortwave Vox transmissions, just come and see me. I will satisfy your curiosity. Have the Vox spirits brought you anything interesting lately? When my character says like Vox spirits, there is a subsect of the Imperium's belief system that believes in machine spirits. They believe that all machines have an innate spirit within that helps communicate and makes the machine runs better. So, Vox asking the Vox spirits, I'm asking if the machines have anything else to tell us. Forgive me, Lord Captain. I have no information that would be of interest to you at this moment. I could be very rude and ask, why do you look so strange? But I'm not going to do that right now. What that's referring to is, the character I'm talking to, Victus, looks very pale and like lean. Not just the cable stuff, that's just normal stuff that she needs to do her job. What my character's referring to about is her being very pale and tall and lean. That is because she is a Voidborn. But we'll go with the Fellowship 40. Connect me to the vessel's main channel. I wish to bolster the morale of my crew. Fellowship test succeeded. The Voxmaster nods and obediently presses several switches on the device she is holding. It is done, Lord Captain. Gain experience. You address the crew with a rousing speech and hear your voice roll through the ship. Reaching even the normally quiet corners of the vessel. When the broadcast ends, you hear distant shouts of approval. Alright, I have... Now, I think most of the people will refer to me as Lord Captain. If it failed, I believe my rousing speech wouldn't have worked so well. That's what a fellowship role is. You know what? Just for completion's sake, why do you look so strange? My appearance comes from my heritage, generation after generation of people who spent their entire lives in the depths of this void ship. Neither we nor our ancestors have ever left our home. The same can be said about many denizens of the Imperium's million worlds. We are used to the silence of the cosmos and the voices of the ship. There are thousands of us, but we dwell far from the Lord Captain's upper decks and remain unseen. We are the Voidborn. Where does the word Voidborn come from? Because we are the children born in the void between the stars, be it the womb of a traveling vessel, an orbital satellite, or a forgotten asteroid station, low gravity voyages through the warp, and the countless dangers of space travel, everything others hate and dread is second nature to us. Tell me about the lives of the Voidborn and my crew. To us, the groans, creaks, and murmurs of the ship creaks and murmurs of the ship sound the way babbling brooks and singing birds do to world dwellers. We hear the ship breathe. We know what it is feeling and thinking. We are part of the ship just like it is a part of us. We perform numerous functions, and there are many officers among our number. Some maintain order and prevent mutiny. Others serve as shepherds and support the crew, and some devote themselves to mending the body and spirit of the vessel. Oh, I can't wait for you guys to meet another tech priest of Mars. Most of the Voidborn are members of a large void ship dynasty that bear responsibility for certain aspects of the ship's life. For 300 years, the main branch of the Ptoleman dynasty has produced the ship's Voxmasters, and most of our subordinates come from the cadet houses of the dynasty. How do you find life on the ship? Life has been quite generous to me, Lord Captain. I am the Voxmaster, and only the best in the dynasty can become one. By virtue of my skills and position, no one has ever denied me anything. Our family claims a spacious section for its demands. I also enjoy long walks through the narrow and dimly lit corridors of the ship, listening to the sounds of her activities, falling asleep and waking up to the chanting of hymns, and admiring the stars beyond, of course. How do the others treat you on this ship? We look, speak, and move differently from the inhabitants of the planetary worlds. Our way of life, traditions, and quirks frighten these people just like the darkness of the cosmos. Many believe us to be bringers of ill fortune. And alas, it is the Voidborn who get the blame for terrible warp phenomena during our longer voyages. Victus hesitates before continuing. Several years ago, an unfortunate warp jump caused all the food on board to spoil. 15 days later, a hungry and furious crew nearly massacred everyone on the lower decks, blaming us for the misfortune and hoping to restock the larders with our flesh. I would have been killed during the mutiny had Idira Talas not shown up on the right place at the right time. She came to my rescue, and the scoundrels' fear of her was even greater than their fear of the void. Idira Talas is a psyker that's on the ship, and unlike most psykers in the Imperium, she is unsanctioned, meaning that she is not properly within the bounds of the Imperium's rules as a psyker. But she was the last rogue trader my predecessors go-to soothsayer, basically. And rogue traders are given a little bit more leniency when it comes to stuff like that. Looks like you are close friends with Idira. Webs of tiny wrinkles appear at the corner of Vigdis's eyes, the only hint that the Voxmaster is smiling. The Voidborn seldom make friends, especially among the captain's entourage. You see, many consider Idira to be different. I am different too. We have spent plenty of time in each other's company, discussing regicide over a glass of amasec. Now you'll notice that there are certain words in here. Regicide is a human tabletop game played across the Imperium and Man, similar to the ancient terror game of chess. And a glass of amasec, a potent alcoholic drink of varying quality, widely available across the Imperium. Except Idira changed after one incident, and we started to drift apart. The death of the Lord Captain Theodora, my predecessor, made her withdraw even more. I do not know if Idira considers me her friend now, but we used to be very, very close. It is good I can still look after her in my own way. Ah, perception test. This is a passive test. Interpreting the Voxmaster's emotion based on half of a face and a Vox-modulated voice is no easy task, but you manage to catch the undercurrent in Victus's words. The Voxmaster is not merely saddened by her rift with Adira, she is devastated by it. Sad. Have you ever left the ship? Oh, I did once, and it was dreadful. It felt like the massive blue dome overhead could shatter at any moment and fall. My bones would be crushed by the gravity. Victus twitches her shoulders, trying to ward off the flood of memories. The ship is my home, Lord Captain, and I would not trade it even for the bounty of 100 worlds. I see. Let us return to business. As you wish, Lord Captain. That will be all for now, Voxmaster. I live to serve, Lord Captain. Alright. Shall we go talk with some of the other crewmates before I go back into the depths of the campaign? Alright. Also, just to give you guys some idea, I mean, it doesn't show much with the map here of the void ship and such, but this void ship that I'm currently on isn't just like a ship that's like, I mean, the Starship Enterprise is pretty big and such when it comes to like space travel and such, but this is a battle cruiser of the Imperium. It is about 1.8 kilometers long and about more than half a kilometer wide. So it's a gigantic ship. The crew totaling is about 26,000 souls, as it says in the beginning. Alright, we'll talk to the Master Helmsman. Master Helmsman Ravor. The tall man before you appears to be woven from tendons and muscles. Blue veins snake under his white, almost dove-colored skin, and his scalp and chin are covered in cropped white hair. His neck and shoulders are wrapped in wires that hint at the presence of neural connectors under his uniform. The officer's face seems to be twisted in a perpetual grimace of annoyance and anger, but he greets you with a respectful nod. Lord Captain, Master Helmsman Ravor at your service. Remind me, who are you? I am the Master Helmsman, Lord Captain. I stand at the wheel of this here tub, I mean your vessel, and bark commands at the idiots who tend to its related systems. In layman's terms, I'm the one who stops us from running into an asteroid or a disruptive gravitational wave when we're traveling through the void. Do you control the ship in real space? I wish that was my only job. I have to steer her through the warp too, but most of the credit for that goes to the navigator. The warp's a nightmare, always tossing up something new. All my years at the helm, they count for nothing in there. Alright, I will explain that in just a moment. My part's small enough. I just monitor our systems, follow the charted route, and I don't kick up a fuss when new orders come in from the navigator's sanctum. To answer that question, I will give you an idea of what a rogue trader actually is. And here, there is good career choices or your career path, but one of the first ones that is in here is actually the rogue trader themselves. So, if you don't mind me just reading from the book for a minute. The bearer of a sacred warrant of trade that empowers them to journey beyond the boundaries of the Imperium to trade, explore, and make war in the God Emperor's name. A rogue trader is a unique figure in the grim darkness of the Imperium. He may be the newly entitled power on the rise or hail from a long lineage of nobles and voidfarers, but all bear their titles with pride, striking out into the unknown in search of fortune and glory. A rogue trader is a power unto himself in the dark void, master of all he surveys, at least as far as his force of arms and sharpness of wits can press the claim. A rogue trader can be many things, but whether standing as diplomat before a planetary ruler, cutting a shadowed deal in the station undercity, bellowing orders amidst an armed host set upon a plunder, or striding the bridge of a mighty starship, they remain one thing above all: free. So, from my character's point of view, I was brought onto this ship probably less than a few hours ago, called upon by Theodora von Valancius, and she called upon me because I was one of the heirs of the Rogue Trader dynasty, or dynasty, as they say in the game. And she was looking through several of the people that could possibly take over for her when she finally passes, but she was hoping to bring us under her wing. And so far, it was me and Edelrad, another one that was also of distant familial relation that seemed to have the right gumption for this. Unfortunately, there was a mutiny that happened by one of her trusted advisors who betrayed her, known as the Master of Whispers, who led a mutiny full of heretics that specifically started targeting officers and such. The other heir was killed, and then to our surprise, we went in to her quarters, and she was killed along with the Arch Militant, or the Master Defender of the ships, basically. Both of them were killed in her quarters. But when we brought this up to the Master of Whispers, he seemed really surprised and disheartened because he wanted her to suffer. So the ownership of the ship passed on to me. So that's where we're at right now. The Rogue Trader warrant of trade, a lot of them, getting new ones are fairly new, fairly rare to happen in the Imperium of Man, because it has to go through a lot of bureaucracy and go all the way back to Holy Terra, Earth, the birthplace of humanity and the home planet of the Imperium at large, to get a warrant of trade from the Council of Terra. The other way is to have an old warrant of trade passed down through your family, signed originally by the Emperor 10,000 years ago. So Theodora is one of those that had one of those warrants of trade signed off by the Emperor. So it's a very old family name. And she was hoping to train me and Edelthrod to see who would be best suited to become the next in line. But because of the mutiny and everything, and with her assassination, with all others kind of pushed out of the way, it fell onto me. So that's what happened. Continuing on, I hope that cleared up some things. Master Helmsman Ravor says, real space. Now that's where I keep my eyes peeled. Gravitational anomalies, void currents, hard radiation, that kind of it shows up everywhere. Thank the Emperor, the augurs on this vessel are holding up. And so far we've been unable to spot if something bad's coming our way. Augurs are basically like radar and a mix of other things that can give detailed scans and such back to the ship. Real space being, of course, the material universe. Whereas when we're doing light speed, we're not going full light travel or going like warp engines to whatever. No, we are literally traveling through a different dimension, which is basically hell, to hopefully get through there safely without getting killed by monstrous demons or having the warp overtake people's minds to get to our destinations faster. Unfortunately, it's the only fast way to travel around the universe. It's not the most reliable, but 9 times out of 10 you'll end up where you need to go. Anyways, who are these idiots you are in charge of? There are too many to list them all. Tech priests from the Imaginarium, voidsmen from the auger decks, the work-shy fools on the bridge. I'd have every last one of them flogged. They all need a wake-up call. They need to be whipped into shape, or else this ship will be going nowhere. Or even worse, it'll go somewhere we don't want it to. That's enough for now, Master Helmsman. Right you are, Lord Captain. You are Voidborn, are you not? That I am. Born into the Helmsman clan in the bowels of the Charter Special. Studied the family trade until I was 15, and my entire clan was butchered in a mutiny by Lowerhold scum. They spared the youngins. Of course they did. Kids with implanted connectors make great navigational servitors. Servitors being humans that have their brains wiped and basically made into cyborg machine servants. Mostly held for people that are penalized lawbreakers and such. but I was having none of it. They weren't going to make a servitor out of me, so I escaped into the crawl worms, and then I spent months picking them off, one after the other. Ravar stops abruptly. You got me talking of a store. Anyway, yes, I am a void. Finish your story, Ravar. Ravar stays silent for a few seconds. Not much to tell. I gutted everyone I could get to, and then I fled upward to the middle decks. That's where the auger operators took me under their wings. They have apprentice helmsmen on their own up there. You see, nobody asked me any questions, so I stayed. I grew up, trained, got smarter, then ended up a junior helmsman. A dozen years later, Danrock spotted me and lured me away. The cheeky liar. Good lord. I can see you went on a gregarious sort. Ravor's eyes twitches, which makes the grimace on his face even uglier. Have I done something to displease the Lord Captain? Did I mishear you, or are you giving the rogue trader cheek? Answer me, white rat! I am merely sharing an observation, or, on the contrary, you are the first person on the bridge who's not tripping over themselves to lick my boots. I like that third option. The helmsman, perpetually twisted mouth, twitches as if he's trying to smile. It looks sinister rather than friendly. Oh yeah? Well, I'm pleasantly surprised myself that you aren't having me flogged for insubordination. Wonders never cease. Ravar points at the cables around himself. Connecting wires. Once they go into the control panel, become one with the ship. Except the bloody cogs messed up the wire stimulus injectors and connectors when they implanted them. They twisted the wires the wrong way or burned something in my noggin. Anyway, I can't sleep. It just doesn't happen. It's been 30 years of non-stop stimulants and a splitting headache, so you'll forgive me if I'm not all smiles, Lord Captain. Damn. Okay, well, we know about the Voidborn. Do we want his opinion on the Voidborn? I'm kind of tempted to. The other options I have, what can you tell me about the other officers, or I must take my leave? I want to hear his opinion. Ravner winces and rubs his temple. Lord Captain, I mean no disrespect, but you do better to find someone with a knack of conversation. Like Ptolemy, the new Voxmaster. I ain't the talking type. I just get the ship where she needs to go. Best let folks stick to what they do best. I mean, alright, man. What can you tell me about the other officers? Good for nothing wasters, that's what they are. Each and every one. Take generous Danrock, the highborn weasel. He fawns over the officers, but some of the deals he makes would get him burned alive. He drags other people into his schemes so they can take the fall for him too. One of my junior helmsmen was ferrying goods from football for him, got caught by the Seneschal, and ended up at the Void Hatch. Danrock couldn't care less. The Voxmaster, another Ptolemy like the last one, Void rest him, is no better. She cut off half the Vox channels the day she took up her post. Said the Vox systems were damaged and the Engineerium had no contact with the other modules. But how am I supposed to steer the ship? Collect the COGS reports with the power of my mind? I love this guy. First Officer Vessarion, my Seneschal, I can't stand him. Like every Navy officer I ever met, he doesn't know a thing about controlling a vessel in the void, but he puffs himself up all the same and throws his weight around. Me and him had to have words a few times before he left me alone. I think the Emperor Lady Theodora trusted me more than the Seneschal when it came to helming a void ship. Then there's that woman. What's her name? Alas, Lady Theodora brought her along whenever she went. And look what happened to her. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that witch that delivered her to an ugly grave, just like the countless souls before. I don't see why anyone would want that walking calamity on their ship. But some would disagree. They say she's friends with young Ptolemy, you know, or at least she used to be. Tell me, do you like anyone at all, or an exhaustive answer? I like the first one. Do you like anyone at all? Ravar looks perplexed. What kind of question is that? I like you, the Lady Theodora before you. Where would I be if I was making cracks about the rogue trader? Ha, I don't want to die just yet. Amazing. Well then, Master Helmsman, I must take my leave. Lord Captain Ravor acknowledges you with a nod and turns away. I love that interaction. Alright, over here we got some bridge officers. We got Argenta, who is the Sister of Battle, or Adeptus Sororitas. They are part of the Ecclesiarchy's military arm in the Imperium. And I just see more bridge officers and servitors and such. Well, I hope it all went well for you, my friend. Welcome to the stream. I'm just going to be playing games and talking nerdy shit, so feel free to just let your cares slip away for a little bit. Let's talk with Argenta, our Sister of Battle.
Rogue Trader.
Oh, good. Voice acting. Sister Argenta looks tired. There are dark circles under her eyes. Her hair is somewhat disheveled, and she makes moves like she's a little on edge. And you heard her say, you said you had a personal request for me.
I indeed have a request, Rogue Trader.
Oh, fine. Don't voice act this part. The accursed servants of chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of our loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in the Von Valancius territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the rogue trader can meet with the orphans. We'll zoom over this for a moment. Chaos, a malign metaphysical force composed of psychic energy that exists in an alternate dimension known as the Warp. Chaos also has manifested in the four gods of chaos in this universe. They are respectively Khorne, spelled Khorne, the blood god, Slanesh, the prince of excess, Tzeentch, the changer of ways, and Nurgle, the king of plagues. Fun people. And then, of course, Rogue Trader. A subject of the Imperium with a unique hereditary title, a rogue trader is tasked with exploring and exploiting the still uncharted regions of the galaxy for the benefit of mankind. And so, to respond to her, I have a few choices. What good would meeting them do? Or make arrangements for a meeting worthy of a rogue trader. I will address the orphans with a speech. I will meet with them, no formalities needed. These are the children of people who gave their lives for the Von Valancius dynasty. My consideration is the least that they deserve. Deliver this order on my behalf. The orphans are to be properly provided for, but a personal meeting with the rogue trader is too much. And last but not least, why would I? Do you wish to fill these children's heads with the illusion that the world and its rulers care about them? I will have no part of this. Good lord, you can be a heartless bastard in this game. I want to do number 3 because I've made the choices earlier for this character to be more iconoclast, caring more for humanity as well. I will pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart. And dialogue. Oh, here we go. Oh, and that's my seneschal right there, Abelard Versarion. We'll meet him in just a minute too. Anyways, for those of you joining, welcome to the stream. I'm glad to have you here. Feel free to just ask questions if you're confused about anything, and I will answer to the best of my ability. A motley group of adolescents do not take their eyes off you, gazing at you as if you were a creature straight from fairy tale. So remember, when it comes to, like, I am Lord Captain of this ship, I am held in a very high regard. I am seen as basically a person with a holy permission from the Emperor himself. Here's Abelard. Our indefatigable sister has been keeping an eye on those pups. Abelard glances at the gathered children. It is hardly the skull of Progenium in here, but we have provided the orphans on our ship with adequate care and instruction. Skull of Progenium, a division of the Ecclesiarchy responsible for upbringing, education, and training of orphans of those officers and nobles who have died in the service of the Imperium. Argenta is standing to the side of the group. As you approach, she perks up and announces, her voice ringing. Brave ones, the master of this ship has appeared before you. the one who guides it through the darkness of the universe by the Emperor's will. Greet your Lord Captain, the rogue trader of House Von Valancius. So, just zoom over. The Emperor of Mankind, the guide, the ruler, and the higher power to which humanity offers their prayers for aid and deliverance. Most would be driven mad with despair if they knew the truth. If you guys want more insight onto that, I will go into a little bit more detail. And of course, we know the rogue trader. So, we have a few options here. Grandly address the group. I, the rogue trader and Lord Captain of this ship, speak to you now. Your parents gave their lives for a just cause and brought honor to the Von Valancius banners and those of the Imperium. I am proud of them, and I believe that you will become their worthy heirs. Next one seems to be more gregarious. Smile at the group. Your Lord Captain greets you, brave ones. And then address the chaperones, not even talk to the kids. Give them treats and escort them to their homes. I believe a minute beholding the Lord Captain is good enough honor for them. Good Lord. Let's go with smile at the group. Your Lord Captain greets you, brave ones. The teenagers keep staring at you. A girl who has remained close to Argenta smiles uncertainly. A skinny, pale lad tries to throw his shoulders back and stand at attention like a soldier. Only a few teenagers at the far end of the row seem sullen and not particularly impressed. One of the scowling visitors, with a thin scar across his face, tosses his head back and says bitterly, "So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens for you, Novelite, and you just give us speeches." Argenta quickly turns to the boy. A flurry of emotions flashes in her dark eyes, like she wants both to calm him and scold him for his impudence. Okay, first few options are just awful, I can see. Address the chaperones. The comportment leaves much to be desired. I hope that they will be molded into worthy servants of the House Von Valancius. This audience is over. Address the chaperones. Punish the troublemaker. Put the rest of them back in their bays. This audience is over. Address the group. If you have things to say them without fear. I will listen. Ignore the interruption. Rest assured, you won't be abandoned. You will be taken care of. Let's go with the kind one. These are just kids. The boy smiles grimly. It doesn't matter what we say. It won't bring our parents back, and it won't change our fates either. We'll keep slaving away on this ship until we drop and die like our folks. Or worse. I understand your grief and dismay. Your parents died. It's not an easy thing to go through. But they gave their lives for the truth. For the good of the whole ship. For the Imperium. Do not speak of their honorable fate with anger and disdain. When the heretics who killed your parents attacked the ship, I was there. I took command. I fought, and I repelled the result as quickly as I could. But no war can be won without losses. You can only strive to do what is within your power. The strong have to decide the fates of others. The weak either obey or die. If you seek difference a lot in life, boy, save your grumbling and look for an opportunity to rise above the rest. Good Lord. Address the chaperones. Punish the troublemaker. Put the rest back. And then gather comportment. Oh, Lord. Let's be kind. I understand your grief and dismay. Your parents died. It's not an easy thing to go through, but they gave their lives for the truth, for the good of the whole ship, and for the Imperium. Do not speak of their honorable fate with anger and disdain. You heard the rogue trader. His words carry the wisdom of the Imperium. The galaxy-spanning interstellar human empire ruled by the living god who is known as the Emperor. It's hard to say whether or not your words have left an impression on the boy, but he nods slowly. Then he catches himself and gives you an awkward bow. Abelard gives a sign and servants immediately... This chicken sounded... Yeah. Oh. This chicken sounded like me. Well, I'm what? And servants immediately emerge carrying packages treats with Von Valancius and place it on the wrappers. It appears that the seneschal became prepared for my contingency. Alright. I love the animation. Here's candy. Take the candy. Enjoy your candy. Oh, I got some claps out of it. Argenta rubs her temples pensively. She smiles and offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. Okay, bye, Argenta. Are we gonna watch her leave all the way? Oh, okay. So what do you mean by the chicken sounded like me? Are heading to the life support. The vessel stands ready, Lord Captain. We'll go back to Argenta. I know she has more to say.
Greetings.
Even in stillness, Sister Argenta radiates energy with her dark eyes shining and a slight blush to her cheeks. She was reciting a prayer and looks at you only once. She has spoken the final line, Edmant, greetings. Tell me about the Adeptus Sororitas.
Gladly. There are none more faithful to the God Emperor than my sisters. We fight against his enemies by the will of the Holy Ecclesiarchy. I beg your pardon, Rogue Trader. Here I am talking about what every lesser noble in the Imperium knows. So what exactly are you interested in hearing about?
The Ecclesiarchy. Yes. Adeptus Ministorum, the religious body of the Imperium, also known as the Ecclesiarchy, which venerates and promotes the worship of the Emperor of Mankind. They say the Adeptus Sororitas are the fiercest in their faith among the warriors of the Imperium. Is that true? I mean, I know who you are, but now that I know you... now that you mentioned that. Okay. No, that's funny. But yeah, I know exactly where you'd stand with that. They say the Adeptus Sororitas are the fiercest in their faith among the warriors of the Imperium. Is that true?
It is. The Sisters of Battle are a fire lit by the God Emperor. They are the echo of his voice that travels through the dark expanses of the universe. We bring his wrath to heretics, mutants, and other enemies of humanity. We protect the faithful from the unholy and unhallowed. Sometimes with words, more often than not with a bolter.
Bolter being a large rifle that is in a .75 caliber, which means it's a huge bullet that is basically an explosive shell. As soon as it penetrates the armor or into a target, it explodes. So bolts are very incredibly, how should I say, very powerful weapons. Normally only the Adeptus Sororitas or the Space Marines themselves have bolters. And of course, Adeptus Sororitas, the devout warriors who serve as the militant arm of the Adeptus Ministorum, all women. Are all sisters truly as faultless as you say?
Even the novices of the Adeptus Sororitas are drawn from among the most worthy. Those who have taken the vows and become a full-fledged sister are the best of the best, tested by trials of body and spirit. Yes, there have been cases when a sister stumbled or showed weakness, but do not expect to hear a story of depravity or downfall from me.
In the tabletop Warhammer game, Adeptus Sororitas are nicknamed nuns with guns.
Each such occurrence is a great tragedy for us all. Light cannot bear the smallest speck of darkness within. And thus those who have trespassed or shown weakness of spirit are given a chance at redemption. They are called Sisters Repentia, and may the enemy tremble before her, for nothing can stop a sister of battle who yearns to be cleansed of fault and weakness. Wearing nothing but robes, no armor, eviscerator in hand, those sisters who have once faltered find repentance on the battlefield. Their lives are seldom long, but a death in the name of purgation is a better fate than to live with a shadow in one's soul.
Now, Eviscerator in hand, in this universe, one of the major weapons of the Imperium is the chainsword, which sounds a lot as it is. The chainsword is literally a chainsaw that is fitted to be an actual blow-for-blow melee weapon. Yes, nuns with guns. It's great. Alright, let's see. There we go. So, in here, you can see the chainsword. The Eviscerator, I'm not sure if it will be in here. Yeah, it's not in the base book, but Eviscerator is the two-handed version of the chainsword, which, as you saw that one, the chainsaw blades only come out the one side. Eviscerators are two-handed and it goes all around. What order are you from?
Once I had completed my novitiate, I was sent to the Calixian branch of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, assigned to the Order's Pronatus. The Order's mission is vital and noble. The Sisters Pronatus protect great relics of the Imperium. We guard them, preserve them, escort them when they are brought onto the battlefield or presented for pilgrims to venerate.
Kind of like Resident Evil, yeah. But imagine instead of just, like, zombies or anything, which there are zombies in this universe, they're just not as frequent. There is aliens, mutants, and heretics. And by aliens, this is based in the Warhammer 40K universe, so there are orcs and elves and such just in space. And that's orcs spelled with a K, O-R-K-S. So there is a difference, and not copyright.
And we seek out the relics that have been lost. Neither a coven of heretics nor the most wicked death world can deter Sisters Pronatus when their goal is to return a piece of the great legacy of the Imperium into the hands of the faithful.
But yes, making sure that the relics stay within the hands of the faithful. Lore Imperium succeeded, so this is a skill test that was passive and succeeded. The Order Pronatus is not one of the Order's militant, and yet you are a trained fighter?
Don't let the name deceive you. The Order's militant trains sisters to march onto the battlefield as an army. That does not make sisters who belong to the non-militant orders timid and helpless. Both the solace-bringing Sisters Hospitaller and the enlightened Sisters Dialogus know how to greet enemies of humanity. Their dialogue with heretics is usually quite short, with the last word being a bolter discharge.
Sounds about right.
And my order has all the more reason to be known for the martial prowess of its sisters. We are the keepers of the Imperium's relics. What would become of our blessed hero's legacy if the Sisters Pronatus could not protect it?
All right. You said you belonged to the Calixian branch of your order. What brought you to the Coronis Expanse, different sectors of the galaxy?
The Order sent me to Footfall. My undertaking was to assist the local priesthood of Drusians in caring for a sacred reliquary that had been there since the time of Parsimus Duane, the station's founder.
Footfall is the massive void port on the edge of the Coronis Expanse and a notorious hotbed of vice, trade, and rogue trader intrigue. It is a major station. And of course the Drusians, followers of the cult of St. Drusus, a legendary hero of the Angevin Crusade who founded the Calixtus Center for the Imperium of Man. Of course, various saints of the Imperium of Man. Are there any other members of the Adeptus Sororitas in the Coronis Expanse?
None that I'm aware of, but the Sisterhood's orders are many, and can operate independently of one another, sending their sisters wherever their presence is needed as deemed by the Ecclesiarchy. Perhaps somewhere in the Lord Inquisitor's retinue, may his path be blessed, my sisters perform their duty as we speak. I wish it were so. Even a single evening spent in joint prayer and training would bring me joy.
And of course, there is the Holy Inquisition of the Imperium. The secret organ is secret, pretty much a secret to most of the lower populations. Most higher ranking officers and people of import or the ecclesiarchy know what the Inquisition is. tasked with hunting down of the myriad threats to the stability of the Imperium and all mankind. There's the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Hereticus, and the Ordo Malleus.
Should any more arise, keeping them to yourself would be imprudent. It is a virtue to take an interest in holiness.
Tell me about yourself.
About me? I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
She means that another name for the Adeptus Sororitas is the Emperor's daughters, not the literal daughter. How did you end up on Theodora's ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the pirate attack. That story is complicated.
Pirate
it just
attack,
so happened that
attack.
I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy. I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, while her crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I'd barely recovered from my wounds when the pirates struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
The archenemy, of course, being the followers of chaos. What happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more, and it's bound to happen someday.
You mentioned making a mistake.
It happens even to the best of us. My mistakes are my burden to bear. I'll find a way to atone for them.
Didn't mean no offense, I'm sorry. Where did this happen?
On one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
We could go to that planet and deal with the Chaos Worshippers.
The path to that planet was lost. All the knowledge is gone, along with the previous navigator. It would take immense effort and resources to rediscover the route. The heir to the Von Valancius Protectorate must have plenty of other issues to deal with right now. Perhaps later, when the skies above our heads have cleared.
The Navigator is a sanctioned noble mutant whose genes allow them to safely guide a warp-capable void ship through the warp, which means allows us to safely go through faster than light travel without basically becoming lost. They have a third eye that allows them to see into the dimension of the warp. What was it like traveling on Theodora's ship?
I hadn't been here that long. Just one journey from Footfall, and the other journey, the majority of which I spent in the confines of the medbay. I can't tell you much about the first voyage. I was more focused on prayers and ruminations than on the people around me, or the journey itself. During the last journey, Seneschal Viserion stood out for me. He came by several times to ask about my health. He's an honorable man and a loyal servant of the Imperium. I think he is as meticulous in his inspections of the logistic systems as he is in his inquiries about the health of the occasional sister of battle aboard the ship.
He's a good seneschal.
But not all of Theodora's people have earned my trust. You know who I'm talking about. There is no place for Adira Tlas among the God Emperor's faithful. I'm surprised she wasn't in league with the pirates. And I'm equally surprised by how deep heresy and treason run in this place. I'm glad we all made it through that dark hour. May the day that follows be bright.
That's still funny to me.
I hadn't been here that.
Whoops.
But not all. As you wish.
I don't want to ask her what's that keeping you in my retinue. But thank you for this conversation. Until next time. Alright, well, that was abrupt. Let's go up to the main area. We'll talk to Abelard Viserion, my seneschal, and then we will make plans on what to do next.
Lord Captain?
Abelard surveys you briskly but meticulously, as though he is inspecting you for his shortcomings. Then he offers a courteous nod. Let's talk about things that may be useful to me as a rogue trader.
A noble aspiration, Lord Captain. I am ready to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you.
Outline the situation in the Coronis Expanse for me. What do I need to know and keep in mind?
This is a topic for an official briefing, not a casual conversation. But I will try to answer succinctly. And if you permit, in my own words. The Coronis Expanse is considerably removed from the heart of the Imperium. This means that local warp routes become useless within months. Established pathways are regularly subject to attacks from all kinds of rabble. And in the only major port, the Imperium's frigates find themselves moored alongside pirate vessels. Until recently, the Coronis Expanse could hardly have been called a region of the Imperium. The situation has changed with the arrival of the Lord Inquisitor, but not by much. This place operates under its own rules, you see. More radical, so to speak. But ones that allow for a non-standard approach where there is a promise of victory. The Coronis Expanse is considered rogue trader territory for a reason. Only rogue traders have sufficient military might, audacity, and the rights granted them by the warrant to survive the leap into the unexplored part of the Expanse, and in the event of a successful outcome, to hold on to whatever they manage to capture on the frontier.
Alright. Who are the main players I need to be aware of in the Coronis Expanse?
In the first instance, you should treat official representatives of the Imperium with respect. The Expanse may be on the fringes, but it still numbers among the territories of the Golden Throne. The arrival of the Lord Inquisitor has turned the Coronis Expanse into a less wild and uncontrolled region, to the regret of some individuals who had grown inured to the local lawlessness.
And the Golden Throne of Terra is arcane cybernetic artifact that encases the God Emperor's physical remains entire and preserves them using stasis fields inside fusion reactors.
Rogue traders such as yourself are also servants of the Imperium. They have been accorded special rights and powers. They wield immense authority within their territory, and they enjoy absolute respect in other parts of the Expanse. The most powerful of them are Kalagos Winterscale and Incendia Bastal Chorda. Tread carefully when dealing with either of them.
Good to know.
If we are to speak of unclaimed territory, which is what Footfall is, among the scum that dwells on that handful of asteroids, there are 3 factions that wield considerable influence in the sector. The first is the Kazbala Commission, organized crime in its most primitive form. It holds sway over the Liege of Footfall and has links to rogue trader Winterscale. The second faction is an offshoot of our shining ecclesiarchy, followers of St. Drusus. They are actively building their forces and hold influence over rogue trader Chorda. And finally, the third faction, the Explorators, a wing of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are willing to die and kill for the secrets of the ancient technological heresies that are hidden among the stars of the Coronis Expanse.
The Adeptus Mechanicus, the technological organization also known as the Priesthood of Mars, which maintains, constructs, and honors the sacred technologies of humanity. Conrad, our previous Master of Whispers, what can you tell me about his betrayal? What do you think he'll do next?
You know, Lord Captain, I am no admirer of fine art. But when we next find ourselves in a civilized port, with time to spare, I will promptly find an artist and commission a portrait of the individual to whom you refer, with a hole between the eyes. Conrad Voigtveer. That he committed his treachery and escaped with his life was an unforgivable oversight.
Yeah, seriously.
We both served Lord Captain Theodora for many years, and we never saw eye to eye. He was brash. He was never afraid of assuming responsibility, and he willingly took on difficult tasks. I am loath to admit it, but the Von Valancius Protectorate continues to reap the fruits of his labors to this day. His service always garnered my respect. But everything else about him made me want to wring the neck of that two-faced snake. If you are taking comfort in the thought that we will hear no more of Conrad, prepare to be disappointed. You thwarted his plans, his meticulously plotted and nurtured treachery. He is sure to attempt to strike at you, and he will use his contacts and knowledge of the Protectorate to do so. The only question, Lord Captain, is whether you will be able to anticipate his next steps.
That is all for now.
As you wish, Lord Captain.
I'd like to know more about my seneschal.
As you wish, Lord Captain. What would you like to know?
Tell me about yourself. What were you before you became Theodora's seneschal?
I used to be an officer in the Navis Imperialis. No, used to be is not quite right. It was not simply a job. It was my calling, the essence of my life. I was proud to serve Lord Captain Theodora, but in my heart and mind, I'm still an officer of the Imperium.
Yes, so the Imperial Navy, all the void ships underneath the Imperium's command.
I met Lord Captain Theodora on a mission where the Imperial Navy was providing reinforcement to the rogue traders' army on one of the frontier worlds. Our acquaintance was not easy. Working with people outside the Navy hierarchy has never been my strong suit. It was to my great surprise then, that after the mission's completion, I received a referral to leave my service in the Navy and join the rogue traders' personal council. It was a difficult choice for me. But I saw in the offer a chance to serve the interests of humanity even more effectively than in the Navis Imperialis. You do not need me to tell you just how remarkable a person Lord Captain Theodora was. I recognized her at once as a true leader and formidable creative force. One who had built a protectorate amidst the dangers and wildness of the expanse.
Leaving the Imperial Navy is far from easy. Why were you permitted to quit your post?
You could say there was no one among the naval command who was willing to impede the wishes of the rogue trader. To do so would be to risk their own position and their relationship with Theodora. Well, the Lord Captain possessed certain contacts in the Imperial Navy. Contacts which she used to request help during the conflict on the border world. And which enabled her to make me an offer that resulted in my joining her retinue. The Navis Imperialis is an ancient institution with its own mandates and muster lists. On occasion, in the heat of an official briefing or an informal discussion, I violated those rules, determined to press my point. It is challenging to choose the words to accurately express my opinion on a situation or the actions of others that do not sound overly scathing or confrontational. Many in command were inclined to view my manner of speaking as unbefitting a person of my rank.
The way you talk about Theodora, I'm beginning to think you are in love with her.
What? Lord Captain, any allegations of improper feelings or unsanctioned relations are utterly baseless and bordering on the insulting. Utterly baseless.
Sure. Think this guy had a crush on the previous captain. Do you have any family?
I am a widower. I am a father of 4, and if my information is not outdated, a grandfather of 11. My family lives on Dargonus. None of my children express any eagerness or aptitude for serving aboard ship, and I would hardly have insisted that they follow in my footsteps.
So, mankind is able to live a little longer than they do nowadays. If you're a high-ranking member within the Imperium, you could be able to live 200 to 300 years with the right amount of augmentations. If you're a tech priest of Mars, you could live for thousands of years. And if you're a space marine, unless you die in combat, you are functionally immortal. Thank you, I have no more questions.
Of course.
You may call me by my first name if you wish, Senator.
I thank you for the honor, but I must decline. As a former military officer, I believe in the importance of order in all things, including the chain of command. You are the Lord Captain, my direct superior. I am not prepared to address you in any way other than as regulation dictates.
Okay, I must take my leave. Until next time, Seneschal.
Lord Captain.
Alright. So, there are, like, 2 more people I could talk to, but I do want to, like, show you guys other portions of this game. So, unless you guys want to sit through some more dialogue, I can continue on. Ah, good. Well, this is another person that will be in our group. Ah, fine. Go next before I say okay. Whatever. The events of Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader take place in a vast region of space known as Coronis Expanse. We know that. Each star system contains objects you can interact with. Sub-objects are marked as point of interest. Move your ship to the point of interest, then left mouse button onto it to initiate the event. Alright, so we are here. So, if we're going to be there, let's go ahead. There are 3 major places that I need to go to. There is Urak 5, which is unexplored, but I remember in the previous briefing it is a space station. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate the input. Rykat Minoris, which is a small planet, which has many of the Bane quests situated, and then an unexplored planet entirely, Rakati Fitna. So let's go to the closest one, because I am still without a navigator on my ship, so that's best to be taken care of. Lord Captain, reporting the Heralds of the Novice Nobilite, or the Navigators of Noble House, continue to maintain Vox silence, perhaps due to Urak 5 being off-limits to visitors. We intercepted the signals from the beacons drifting in the station's orbit. The demands are clear. We are told to turn the ship around immediately. That's suspicious. We have also detected an accumulation of space debris near the station's docks. Presumably, it is the remains of interplanetary shuttles. Perhaps the esteemed Navis Nobilite House requires aid, and therefore cannot respond to our Vox transmissions. Contact the station again. I will negotiate personally. Order the auger crew to scan the station. Turn back. No one dares to give me orders, and we will not invade a Navis Nobilite station without first acquiring official approval. But they could be needing our help, so let's do an auger scan. Yes, Lord Captain. The Vox remains silent for a while, but then you hear Static Invictus's measured voice. The officers from the auger crew performed a full scan of the station. The information is imprecise. They note wave distortions of unclear genesis that are throwing off most of the readings. We were able to ascertain the reactor core of the station is still active, but many compartments are unpowered and some fully depressurized. The signs of biological activity are largely present in the central module, which means the station has not been abandoned. So the question remains, why are the esteemed navigators' heralds ignoring us? Contact the station again. I will negotiate personally. The Vox relays the cadent sound of grinding gears and clicking tumblers. I am sorry, Lord Captain. The station does not reply even after an official greeting by a rogue trader, and the declaration of your intent to negotiate in person. Order the crew to commence docking with the station. Affirmative, Lord Captain. We don't know what it is happening at the station, so you will have to look for the esteemed navigators blind. Dock safely, and may the God Emperor light your path. Alright, well, into the Navis Nobilite. Get scanned. Alright, Urak 5. Me, Abelard, Idira, and Argenta. That's pretty much sets the tone. The Imperium's enemies wear a million guises, whether it be the traitorous heretic, the devious Xenos, or the spawn of chaos. Their fate is one and the same, to burn in the righteous flame of the God Emperor. Oh boy. There's guards.
Worm. You dare to argue with your master?
It was not you whom I swore to serve within these walls. My lips are sealed.
Confess. What was the old man's last command? What are you planning?
Give up, Keeper. You have lost this battle. Again.
We're getting nowhere with these ones, sir. Permission to execute them.
Wretches, you will be consigned to oblivion for your transgressions against House Osrello. Orcelio. Immortal Emperor, deliver your servants from peril. Prayers will not help you, servant of the damned. In the name of the House Orcelio, I command you to execute the infidels. Openly kill them. Damn, okay. Up there I am. Not a step further. Master, we have some strange guests on the station. Just... Felic Orcelio. A tall man stops you with a gesture when you approach. Blood is trickling down the pearly scales of his weary face, and not just his own blood. Two jet-black, unblinking eyes are watching your every move, and the third one, the mark of the navigator's fate, is menacingly pulsing behind the lowered lid in the middle of his forehead. Step back, or I will unleash the horrors of the Sea of Souls upon you. Emperor, be my witness. Sea of Souls is just another name for the war. Abelard, if you would be so kind, or desist, brother. It was the Emperor's will that brought me to this abode. Or keep talking to me this way, and I will make you swallow your own tongue. Desist, brother. It was the Emperor's will that brought me to this humble abode. The navigator frowns. No one has the right to interpret his will so freely, brother. But wait, I recognize your coat of arms. You must be the lord of the Von Valancius dynasty. Yes, I am absolutely positive of the fact. And since fate has brought such an important person into my abode, allow me to introduce myself. Before you stands Felic Christoph August, keeper of this station. You did not come to offer support to the traitors? This is great news. Having said that, you must understand that Yorick 5 is a holy sanctum for our house Orcelio, and the path to it is only revealed to a select few. It pains me to say you are not on the guest list. Provide me with a navigator and I will immediately depart the station. I came here in search of a navigator, so are you coming with me? I was looking for the Lord Inquisitor's interrogator, one Heinrich von Kalas. Do you know anything about his present location? What is happening on the station? Where did all the corpses come from? I don't want to ask too much about the Inquisitor's thing, because that was a sacred mission kind of quietly told to me. And I know he's supposed to be somewhere on one of the planets nearby, so I know he's probably not here. I came here in search of a navigator. Provide me with a navigator, and I will immediately depart the station. I do not think this is possible. Yorick 5 is an observation station. We do not sign contracts and do not provide navigators. We delve into the depths of infinity and chart the movements of the warp storms. And besides, Felic gestures at the disorder around him. You have chosen an inopportune time for negotiations. What is happening on the station? Where did all these corpses come from? Betrayal. A most banal thing in the life of the nobilite, don't you think? I was stabbed in the back by my closest friend, Theobald Orcelio, the second keeper of Yorick 5, and my mentor. On his instructions, my own people sabotaged the generators, blew up the shuttles, and brutally massacred the loyal servants of my mistress. Most unforgivably, they dared to take her prisoner. Greedy scum! I swear by the throne's life, their souls will perish in the darkness of the void. Felix falls silent for a few moments and then furiously slams the end of his staff into the floor. The madmen have captured Lady Cassia and are now torturing her upstairs while we are idly chatting down here. Help me rescue her or be gone. Waste no more of my precious time. What kind of help are you talking about? I still have questions concerning the situation on the station. Taken by force or just outright attack. Your words are rife with disrespect and I will not tolerate I have questions concerning the situation on the station. Our idle chatter will not save Lady Cassia, but if you need to be sure of something before you can help, so be it. Tell me about your mistress? Regretfully, I'm not allowed to discuss my mistress, whether with her retinue or the outsiders. She will tell you about herself personally if she feels like it. That is, assuming she survives. I am begging you not to waste any more of our precious time, for it is running out. What makes you think your mistress is still alive? A spark of concern flickers in the black pits of Felix's eyes. You may not believe me, but Lady Cassia is capable of... The navigator cringes, seemingly in pain, and furiously exhales. Incredible things. Not even the traitor Theobald can easily harness her power. My men have reported that the station is in deplorable state. The navigator irritably brushes away his strand of bloodied hair. Trust me, I should know. Everything happened too quickly. There were dozens of reports of accidents, victims of failing systems, but the only precious thing aboard this station is Lady Cassia's life. Everything else is futile and can be easily replenished. Why did you not respond to the messages from Reich and Minoris? I have already said Uruk 5 is sacrosanct. It is the holy domain of the Navis Nobilite, and it is forbidden for commoners from the world below. Oh god, commoners. Come on, even the people that are in charge? We had hoped to solve the crisis on our own, but when the situation spiraled out of control, we could not establish contact because the traitors had disabled our equipment. That sounds really full of himself, even for a navigator. What kind of help are you talking about? I would never ask you for such a favor under different circumstances, and yet, Felix takes his hand away from his rib cage. Hold on, what is that? Notices blood and winces in pain, and yet Lady Cassia's well-being is above all. I haven't got many people left, and my wounds are too deep for me to act with precision and swiftness, but you may actually succeed. In order to ascend the mistress's chambers, you will need to remake a holy relic sanctified with the blood of Lady Orselio herself. This is the control rod of the elevator's machine spirit. I have one part, and the other was lost during the mutiny, but even this relic will be of no use unless the elevator's mechanism is powered. And like I said before, the machine spirit is a spirit believed by the adherents of the cult Mechanicus to inhabit and control any technology in existence. Why should I help you? How do I remake the control rod? So how am I supposed to power the elevator? How do I remake the control rod? I have a phylactery containing the mistress's blood. It needs to be taken to the laboratory, which is located behind one of the reliquary doors. The most ancient and sacred mechanisms will help to rebuild the rod. The tech priest ceaselessly performed the rites of appeasement so that the machine spirit would serve the house in its time of need. The fateful hour is now upon us. Tech priests, the rulers of the Adeptus Mechanicus, they revere technology as the objects of their devotion. They direct the endeavors of fabrication and lead the followers of the machine god in unforgiving crusades of ruthless acquisition. Why should I help you, or so how am I supposed to... Let's ask about the power. The station's main cogitator is situated in the guard room. Just enter the correct command sequence, and the sacred mechanism will do the rest. Cogitators are basically just computers. If it's so simple, why don't you do it yourself? I never said the feat would be easy to accomplish. The path to the laboratory and the guard room is blocked by the very same madmen who took over the station. They will not negotiate and are not afraid of displeasing the Navis Nobilite or incurring the Emperor's wrath. They bow only to brute strength, something which I currently happen to lack. Why should I help you? You came to the station for a reason. House Orsilio will not be able to help you until the current crisis is resolved. But if you aid us now, I promise we will reach an agreement that you will find satisfying, be it riches, influence, or the powers of our navigators. I guess that makes sense. So what have you decided, descendants of Von Valancius line? The woes of your house upset the balance of power in this part of the galaxy. I will help you, if not for the sake of profit, but for the good of the Imperium. It will be an honor to save the Lady Navigator from her woes. Rogue traders aid will cost House Orsilio, but you should rejoice, for your mistress will live. I will rescue your mistress, but in return I require that House Orsilio sign a contract with my protectorate, take it by force, or attack. Let's go with... yeah, the first one. It's for the good of the Imperium as well. Bellic nods curtly. You should hurry then. We will stay here to hold the line and lick our wounds. Good luck, rogue trader, and may the Emperor's light be with you. I have gained a phylactery of blood. Fun.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
That wasn't so difficult.
The corpse is here. There's too many things. Who are you? Why are you crying? Weird.
Follow my lead.
Oh well, the corpses seem to be
Excellent.
displaced in several
Matters.
ways. On this abode of navigators, then our weapons will soon dispel their wickedness.
What is that?
Ooh. That's a good thing that we noticed that. Let's go ahead and set Argenta onto that.
Never doubt me.
Okay, so we managed to deactivate.
I noticed something.
Oh, and there's another trap over here. So I have two ways of going. Either this way
Duty prevails.
or this way. Let's cut across this way. Oh boy. Stand firm! We must not let the miscreants defile House Orsilio! Defile? Alright, well, for House Orsilio! Well, let's see how me and my...
and you'll die quickly.
You dare cross the faithful!
set myself here. We'll set Abelard up here. Yeah, he doesn't get to go for a little bit, so he should be taking some cover. Argenta, we'll set you up here. And Idira will set up here. Because it looks like a lot of them go before us, so... Missed.
Just a minor setback.
Good thing we're in cover and taking armor, because Abelard only took one hit and one damage out of all of that. So, let's go with Regimental Tactics. And there's many enemies this way, so I will fire a burst round and see how many of them I can hit.
Counting me was your biggest mistake.
Ooh, quite a few hits. 2 dead immediately. 1 down.
Already
Let's
done.
go ahead. Set myself up for my next action. Move myself up. And
All
fire up
too
on
easy.
more. I hit one, but didn't do too much damage. Alright, that's my turn. Alright, all you were able to do was that. So let's move Argenta up. And still quite a few enemies this way. Let's go ahead
I
and
will
open
bathe
fire
this
on them.
battlefield in righteous fury. Eradicated.
Go Argenta, damn.
I'll do it.
Alright. Then can she shoot again? She can. Let's go
Doubt
ahead
is
and
for the weak.
First fire.
None can escape the Emperor's
Another
judgment.
death over here. Nobody else hit this way. Alright. Well, take cover. Just wait. Alright, Abelard, you are our front line runner, so I will have you move here. And then... you can't make it to him, can you? Damn. Alright, well, let's get moved up anyways. Oh, well, I can still hit him, so that's good. We'll do
It
one
will be
endure. Now, as you heard a little bit of that attack, Abelard is wielding a chainsword, so... Going over to his inventory... Yeah, chainsword. Alright, that's his turn, and might as well brace for it. Alright, come on, guardsman. Let's see what you got.
Reduce to dust!
Attack of opportunity because he tried to move away. Alright, let's see. Idira, let's give forewarning, as she is our psyker here. She is basically granted psychic abilities, but psychic abilities in Warhammer 40k may as well be just akin to magic.
I'm not so sure.
Oh, I can't reach him, so let's give it to Argenta.
Was that you? Or...
Let's check. Hold on. Just double checking some stuff on my stream. Making sure everything's still going properly. Yeah, it says we're still running for quite some time. Is our feed cutting out? Oh, hold on. Wonder how long that's been going. I'll be sure to keep track of that. So, let's go back to this. There we go. Much better. Alright. Well, let's see what her side stuff can do. She can't hit anybody from here, so let's move her up. Let's see if she can hit anybody there. Nope. Alright, so I guess the best thing she can do will be some investigation. Alright. And can't do anything else there. So let's expose the weakness of that guy. Alright, that's all she can do right now. Missed all of your shots.
My ears are ringing.
Still took 0 damage. Good to know. Well, what can I do for you? I can hit those two, but we do have more coming up. Let's go ahead and hit these guys.
Nothing I can't do. Who even thought to fight like this?
Alright. Managed to kill one. Alright. So, those guys are moving up now. Go ahead, Argenta, let's see what we can get.
I'll do it. Eradicated.
Oh, 2 kills. Nicely done. For now, let's just... Yeah, we'll wait for
Mocking me.
Alright, well, Idira took a few hits.
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones. I took care of this one.
Good job, Abelard.
At your beck and call.
Of course. Alright, Idira, let's move you up. And can we Psychic Shriek on him? Nope, still too far. Yeah, too much still. So let's go ahead and give...
No can do.
You can't give him forewarning from this distance. Okay, fine. Just wait there for a minute then. Let's move me up. I can only hit from here, but then...
Never wavered in the face of adversity.
Ah, missed. But, soldier ability, let's move up. Get some cover. Alright. That's what we'll do for now. Go ahead and move up. See if she can take a single shot and hit
Rejoice
better.
in battle!
Missed. Alright, well, worth a shot. Let her reload. Alright.
I'll live another day.
Alright. Took a few hits, but not much else that can happen. Let's move
Fantastically
Abelard
sound,
over
Edmant.
here. And if I charge him, he's only going to get so far and still be open. So let's leave him in cover for now. Idira, let's move you up. Can you hit a motherfucker? No, cannot. Can Psychic Shriek him? Nope. Alright, well. Go ahead and move on up.
What is this foreboding?
And let's give my character
Anything
more
else?
forewarning, because I'm not as heavily armored as everyone else. Alright. My turn. Now, I'll move up to here.
My
Now let's take
tactics
some
are
risk.
flawless.
Damn it, missed again. Need to remember to do that other ability before doing that. Oh well. Let's move Argenta up.
Guided by faith. As the Emperor commands, I act.
There we go. Nicely done, Argenta. Alright, that's the end of that combat. Let's go ahead and gather up resources and such. Anything interesting or good? Shotguns, scrappy auto guns, las guns. Yeah, nothing too different. Oh well. Good to know. Anybody else have anything on them? Just a few more flag gear. Flag chest plates. We're all good. Alright, so there's a door over here. Let's check it out.
Something of interest.
Oh.
How may I serve the dynasty?
Let's wait for a moment. Have Argenta come over and disarm the trap.
The Emperor favors me today.
Okay. There's a dead guardsman over here with navigator flesh sample. Okay, hold on to
The
that.
crew continues to mourn Lady Theodora. I fear it may affect the performance of their duties in service of the Lord Captain.
In his service will they find strength and fortitude. Only thus will they turn their hearts away from the frailties that lead to heresies.
Okay, let's check this one. Ooh, lots of goods in here. Bat meal cakes, shipment of low sticks. Low sticks are basically just big cigars. Set of Elcons. I don't know what icons are. And engraved flasks. Alright, stuff to trade whenever we come to port. Alright, let's continue onward. Ooh, there's a door here. It's a good thing I checked.
What is that?
Alright, stop everybody.
None shall stand in my way.
I'm enraged!
Or move in directly into it, that works too. Let's check what's here. Ooh, howled fingerbone charms. Set of icons, extravagant perfumes, and aged ranka. More upscaled, noble kind of alcohol. But I do see people on the other side of this wall. I see guard defender. Okay. Don't know if they're against us or not, so let's open this door right now.
A new challenge for me?
Did you hear the screams? Move! Sir, are you alright? We can't hear anything. Uh-oh. So there is a madness going around. Now I see. You're in league with them. Is this an insurrection? Yes, indeed. Death to the traitors! Oh, Lord. Sir, what are you doing? Get a hold of yourself, sir! And way to just stand there and let him kill you, man. I know you're all traitors. Traitors, all of you! They told me! They whispered! Hey, who are you? Okay, that resolved itself very quickly. Alright, they have scrappy auto pistols, another las gun, and flak chest plate. Okay, well, we'll collect all those. Anything over here? Another scrappy auto pistol. And of course, if you guys have any questions or anything, please feel free to just let me know. I will answer to the best of my ability. Ooh, data crypt H41OK. Take that. Let's just in case. Alright, there's a door here. Ooh, and I need to make tech or use multi-keys and such. See if I can get a tech use in.
Damn it.
Damn. How about Babylon? Alright,
The
multi-key it
whispers
is.
told me how.
You used the key, the whispers told you nothing. Goods. Lots of goods in here. Ooh. Plasma shock generators, filtration plugs, creative trank injectors, shipments of glow sticks, and wide awake pack. Okay. Self-explanatory. No long last. That is a sniper rifle, if I remember correctly. I'll hold on to that just in case. No, you go in here. And a carapace chest plate. I still have better. Okay. Let's see what else we can find here. That okay, some more good stuff. Alright, well, most of the stuff will be in here is just tradable stuff for later, so that's good to know. Ooh, and a locked thing. Let's see if we can get in here.
The premonition runs true.
Cool, lots of good stuff to sell. Alright. Anything else?
Victory awaits.
Alright. Other goods to be here. Ooh. Keeper Theobald graciously agreed to provide samples of his skin growth so we could study the influence of the rebellious Imperium on the flesh of the Navis Nobilite. Just as we thought, navigators are positively resistant to the restless currents of the warp. The God Emperor truly does shield some people against corruption and misery, but let us get back to the study of mortal flesh. Another servant will be carried in shortly. I must ready the organ extraction equipment. Fun times. Adamantine dust and black water. Adamantine is basically the strongest metal there is. This was the worst idea that could have entered my mind. God Emperor be praised, I am lucky to still have my head on my shoulders after this reckless experiment. Nevertheless, we did make an important discovery. The adamantine seems to protect the frail flesh of the lowborn to a degree. Having said that, not even the macerator can handle its temper, so we should probably introduce a more complex compound into the formula. All the data related to the experiment were recorded to data crypt K04OH. I will get back to them later once I am done with experiment H41OK, which I have that. Okay. Have I mentioned that the chunk of meteorite found by Keeper Felix subjects is completely useless? Although its shining granules could be used to make new paints for the child. Yes, I think I'm going to do exactly that. Okay, interesting. We'll take that with us just in case. And there's another door here. Full of people. We're done for. They'll kill us. I can't take this anymore. We are done for. They'll kill us. It hurts so much. The pain in my chest. Uwe. Uwe has had his tongue cut off, just like the rest of the lesser servants of House Arcelio. Good lord. Okay. For some reason, the Archenemy's twisted influence has found its way into the station.
It's about time.
So, the work of chaos is fully in the station. Oh, and I'm injured, so let's get.
We are the spearhead of the Imperium. Let's patch you up.
Thank you. Now where were we?
And I believe our
I woke up with a feeling of wonder, as if a field of flowers was blossoming nearby.
Okay.
A child was saved from death. 1,000 heretics were burning alive, begging and sobbing and howling.
It is refined to become, and when it's refined, it becomes one of the hardest metals. There is ceramite and adamantine. Space Marines are mostly have armor made of adamantine. Awakening the Cogitator. The Cogitator's vid screen is covered in cracks and stained with dry blood. The buttons, switches, and levers were ripped out of the control panel with exceptional cruelty and scattered around the sacred mechanism that now sparks and hisses in agony, still refusing to perish. Awaken the cogitator. You turn a few of the remaining dials and pull the activation lever. The cracked vid screen of the sacred engine flickers. The cogitator's inside emits creaks and groans, and the lumens oscillate at random. It takes a while, but eventually the machine spirits do grant you access to the cogitator systems. Lumens are just light bulbs. Request data on the station's navigators. After a brief pause, the data appears on the vid screen. Felic Orcelio, location, main hall, status alive. Theobald Orcelio, location, upper chambers, status alive. Calamira Orcelio, location, upper chambers, deceased. Alexius Orcelio, lower levels, deceased. Rasmus Esteban Orcelio, unknown, status deceased. Damn. The child. Upper chambers, biometric parameters, rapid heartbeat, elevated body temperature, stress level exceed the permissible limit. Status, unknown error. Attention, calming procedures advised. Attention, upper chambers inaccessible. Error, the control rod is not present. If the rod has been misplaced, immediately contact the station keeper or the Navis Laboratorium's custodian. Why is it more detailed on the child? Examine the log. The archive data stored on the cogitator's local data crypt is partially corrupted, but you still manage to access the residual logs for examination. You Vox report that one. Hisses for some time before you hear a voice. This is Officer 82H2. Do you copy? Several generators overheated on the lower levels. Chamber A to D are unpowered. The tech priest crew sent to investigate. The problem is not responding. Requesting back. The officer's speech is interrupted by shouting and the recording abruptly ends. Officer H123 speaking. H123. 200 servants have perished due to the explosive decompression of the living quarters, where we've located traces of the mechanical interference. The preliminary cause is officer sabotage. Crews 5, 6, and 9 are cut off from the main compartment. We have enough oxygen for 20 minutes. May the Emperor save our souls. Senior station officers, this is the captain speaking. We attempted to contact the Winterscale Scion for help, but something is jamming the signal. We never received a reply and cannot be sure it was even sent in the first place. A rescue team is not coming. We are on our own, so remain vigilant. Anyone could be a traitor, you hear me? Anyone. If you are in doubt, shoot to kill. The following Vox recordings are too badly distorted to make out even a single word. So, didn't he say that, like, he was unconcerned, the guy that greeted us, that he was unconcerned with sending out help? Kind of counterintuitive, isn't it? Examine the recent entries of the incident log. The report X880 originator classified, dated classified. Servants close to the child have started butchering one another a bit. An order came from above to have their remains reprocessed. Good lord. The negotiations with the Winterscales were a success. A new batch of servants will arrive in 10 moons. Escort them to the laboratory at once. It is imperative that we increase the new retainer's resistance to the child's power. Data expunged. Examine the station's docking log. Identity confirmed. Region Aranto Orcelio. Data visit classified. Reason visit classified. Data departure. Well, that was helpful. Let's examine the security and life support logs. Repeating message streams down the vid screen. Warning, damage in technical compartments A12, B3, D8, and H24 detected. Warning, living quarters L10, L16, L28 depressurized. Warning, unable to access the station's docking system. Warning, energy regulation system unknown error. The station will transfer over to emergency power. Immediate evacuation of the facility is advised. Warning. Damn. Viewing encrypted data. Required access level, security captain or above. Senior security officer. Let's see if I can get my tech fuse to break the machine guardian's defenses. Hey, succeeded. You easily bypass the restrictions imposed on the sacred machine. The cogitator's overloaded processors were unhappily. Most of the encrypted data has been wiped. You find traces of the Purge protocol. Recovery is impossible, but a list of the most recent... I'm double checking my stream again. Why does it keep doing that? Hold on, guys. Why does it keep going over here? Let's just cut that hotkey off. Okay. I don't know why it keeps doing that. You guys can see hear everything fine again. There we go. I don't know why it keeps switching over to the other thing, so I think I got it fixed for now, so better stay here. Back to the game. Most of the encrypted data has been wiped. You find traces of the Purge protocol. Recovery is impossible, but a list of the most recent commands having been embedded in the machine spirit's consciousness now flits across the screen in a single creeping line. Child delete picked flow, disabled access code, annual station controls, delete archive, shutter, total self-destruct, purge command log. So there's a lot going on in here. It looked like someone that has control of the station, command log, self-destructed the shuttle, annulled the station's control, and disabled the camera feed, the picked flows. So something's going on here. Only the keepers of the station have access to the life support section, but Keeper Theobald had not left the child's side, and neither had I. Could it be that... ... Turn to the list of available commands. Call Rycat Magnoris for help. The system cannot carry out your command despite the eager compliance of the machine spirits. One thing is certain, the problem does not lie in the cogitator. Okay. Switch to the main chamber controls. The cogs within the sacred mechanism slowly start turning with heavy grinding and clacking. The tired machine spirit grants you access to station control, or at least its parts, that still obey the cogitator. Let's open all doors on the level. The cogitator's vid screen goes dark as if the machine spirits had fled their mechanical casket, but your assumption is incorrect, as it fills with static just a few moments later. You can barely make out an inscription amidst the flow of rapidly changing symbols. Warning, data corrupted, processing, error. A lot of binary. I am not a tech priest, so I cannot speak in binary code. So I will push a bunch of buttons until something works. The passage has been opened. Okay, so that helped. Already been opened. Ah, now I opened another door. Ah, the main door. Well, we can go in there now, so let's see what we can find. Alright, that ends that. Main elevator controls. Activate the elevators. Processing query, confirmed. Alright, I think that's it. So let's go to the laboratories real quick, as we need to remake the phylactery control rod. See if there's anything else useful to us here as well. Ooh! We can clear a lot of debris.
I rise to the occasion.
Alright. Underneath it was a guardsman with noble silk gloves. Wearer gains 5+ bonus to persuasion. Okay. Who needs gloves? Well, I don't have any gloves right now, so might as well make use of them right now.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Other goods. Ooh, Warp Seer's goggles. Ooh, I know somebody that can use that right now, so let's go to Idira. Yeah, she doesn't need that. I will give that to somebody else later. Right now, that will help with her. Alright. So, back to the main hall. Ooh. Heresy has found its way into the walls of this esteemed place. Log of this esteemed house. It is a black day for the Navas Nobilite. Great. Well, time to keep moving. Right, there's lots of stuff to look at here, and lots of goods. So let's collect what we can right now. Ooh. Data crypt 040H. That's the one mentioned in that log. Okay. Flesh sample. Fun. Goods. Ooh. Biogel, viscous, translucent substance, black water, purified sample from the oceanic world OM42K Rogue, and the last but not least, unidentified acid, foul-smelling, hissing liquid. Fun. Guessing I'll need all of those to help make the key. And psi crystal. Okay. Right, so let's see what this thing is.
Done.
Synthetic amniotic fluid pools across the floor. Barely discernible traces stretch to the side opposite the entrance. Okay.
I won't tolerate weakness.
There's another thing I can search over here. Caustic stench of the reagent sears your nostrils and broken glass crunches underfoot. Somebody wanted to destroy the laboratory or find something.
Over there.
Oh. Ooh, talisman change. That's a heretical object. Fingerbone and gilded flag. Oh, right. Damn. Well, we can't go in here. So I guess we'll just go through this doorway. Lady Cassia's Medicaid. They all just lost their minds. Please, don't kill me. Alright. Let's look at the goods. Adamantine! I will hold on to that. Maybe control rod, transducer, goods. Ah, here we go. Research note from Navis Laboratorium. Custodian Fortunata. Alright. More and more servants are being influenced by the Imperium, and it has nothing to do with the child's more frequent tantrum. We've discovered that the corrupted flesh of the mutated reacts most unusually to the crystals we purchased from the Winterscale dynasty. I strongly recommend finely grinding the reagent to catalyze the reaction. Do not use acid under any circumstances. Trust me, you will not like having to tend to the burns for the next dozen turns in a row. This calls for something more basic. Oh, and one more thing. The Tech Priest blessed the data crypt of H40K for the calculated number of chronoturns, which means it is no longer necessary to remain near the device while waiting for the reaction to start. The data crypt H40KO malfunctioned over the course of our research. I should remind the Technomats to deliver this sacred mechanism into the Magos Dioctus's capable hands. That's right, so that seems to be very indicative of what we need to do. So, yeah, data crypt connector will require H41OK, so we'll close that. Catalyst reagent flask, which we need to put in. We don't have a reagent. Is there something I'm missing? Oh, there's goods right here. Oh, the laboratory journal. Another one. Experimental section. The child's influence on the psycho-emotional state of various representatives of the Imperium. Access level Orcelio T prime. Subgroup. Lowborn male. Test subjects exhibited signs of acute stress. The majority perished of blood loss within a day of being placed in the laboratory chamber due to the inability to halt the discharge of ocular secretions, tears, and the body's subsequent replacement of these secretions with the connective tissue of its internal environment. The individuals with the greatest resistance to the sacred child's resonance died several chronoturns later. Extensive wounds in the abdomen, presumably inflicted by a jagged piece of metal. Death was caused by strangulation with the subject's own intestine. What? The subject's final shouts exhibited concerns over abominable tentacles and void worms, hallucinations prescribed to their own internal organs. Good lord. Subgroup of low-born female. The test subject died within an hour of entering the laboratory adjacent to the child's chambers. Most had their tongues bitten off or their jaws badly dislocated. Some test subjects lacked the physical strength to separate it from the rest of the skull. Cause of death, severe head injuries caused by impacting with walls or floor. Subgroup, a paralyzed patient who lost the ability to speak due to the shock caused by a manufactorum accident. Male. The test subject noted a tingling sensation in the deteriorated tissue. During Regent Oronto Orselio's visit to the child, the test subject smiled and started humming, most likely trying to carry some plebeian tune, and then attempted to address the servant who brought him food. A lengthy conversation was prohibitive due to the servant's lack of tongue. Good lord. Subgroup, a effective offspring of Lord P. Arcelio, pronounced unfit for studying the high art of navigation owing to the mutation of tissues required for installation of the obligatory augmentations that merges one's consciousness with the vessel. Additionally, they display an overall feebleness of mind. Female. The test subjects mirrored the child's actions for 3 days. On the 4th day, the child became upset after hearing the news about the untimely demise of Amos Cantarelli, an officer of her personal guard. As a result, one of the test subjects peeled away several layers of tissue from her face and died from the resulting massive heart attack. The last surviving test subject was executed for attempting to contact the child. Good lord. We'll hold on to that shit. We are missing some. Oh, tissue flask. We have navigator flesh sample. Okay. Reagent flask. We don't have the necessary reagent. Do we have the catalyst? Yes. We have the biogel that we want to put in there. Not the acid. We can't remake the control rod because we need this in here.
We need to investigate.
Okay. Did that give us anything? Yes, there we go. Crystal dust. That's what we needed to add into here as the reagent. There we go. Activate the device. Huh. Wonder if I did something wrong, but I did remake the control rod, didn't I? Yes, I did. Control rod. An elevator control rod made with the help of navigator technologies. Interesting. I probably screwed up that little thing, but whatever. We got some other stuff we need to do. We got some other stuff to loot. Ooh, more stuff. Plastic crystal cores. Yeah, a bunch of good stuff. Examine this. Medicaid.
That didn't go as I'd hoped.
All the servants perished in crossfire. Good lord. Books. Catechisms of St. Drusus. We'll hold on to those. I see another thing so good. There it is.
A new challenge for me.
Meteorite chunk. That probably could have been used in that experimental thing. Oh well. Ripper auto pistol. Sounds like something fun. And the last goods over here. And mutated flesh. Yep. I should have figured. I probably did that whole sequence.
None shall stand in my way.
Need to remind myself to save actively before going forward. Speaking of, let's do that. Save. Alright. Well, we got the control rod, we restored power. So I believe that was all I could do over here. Yep, alright, so we've done what we can. So let's talk to Felic. Felic Orselio looks a little better. His tangled hair is now neatly braided, his wounds are tightly bandaged, and there is some healthy color under the scales on his cheek. You dealt with the threat and powered the elevator. Well done. I trust you brought the activation rod as well? Remember, every second of hesitation may cost my mistress her life. Adira suddenly cocks her head and drives her nails deep into her shoulder. Then she starts mumbling. The crossroads. There are 2 paths, both stained with blood, both leading to the accursed eye. They all wear masks, so poor and flimsy. They fall at the slightest touch. One hiding a blind man, another a traitor. Tell me more. What paths? She's a psyker with the ability to divine little bits and pieces of the future, although it's kind of vague whenever it's told. I cannot say. One is paved with blind faith, the other with hatred and treachery. Both lead to tragedy. You simply have to decide what kind of tragedy you like the most. Who is who? Who do you see behind the masks? My whispers are giggling nastily. They will not speak, the naughty little things. They say that tearing off the mask is your concern. Thank you. I did not understand a single word. Thank you. Everything is clear now, or ignore the psyker. What do you guys think I should do? Because I'm not sure how to take that, because I know somebody was bullshitting because of the logs and such, but it didn't give me much more information than that. Good lord. Anything? I'm gonna be honest. Thank you. I did not understand it. No, everything is clear now. Let's go with that one. Idira nods tiredly and glances at Felix out of the corner of her eye. The station has enough problems without your sorcery, Psycha. Felix waves Idira off and looks at you expectantly. I have many questions regarding what happened to the station. Let's go ahead and ask a few more questions. You think you are worth the life of my mistress? Who is the child mentioned in the documents and reports found on the station? You meddled with something that you should not have been left alone. That should have been left alone. The keeper folds his arms and shakes his head disapprovingly. The child is what the station's servants called Lady Cassia, for the Mercometer's dirty mouse must not sully her name by uttering it. You see, it is not beneficial for all servants to have their vocal organs altered. Some prove to be more useful when they are still able to speak. The madmen I fought were convinced that we were the traitors. The servants alone cannot be blamed for what happened on the station. Most corpses I discovered were either unarmed or feeble. Or, I trust you, Felix Corselio. Let us rescue you, mistress. I'm not sure if I really trust this dude. The madmen I fought were convinced that we were the traitors. That's why they are insane. Will you really heed the ramblings of retainers who dared to raise their hand against the scions of a noble bloodline? The servants alone cannot be blamed for what happened. Did you really think mere servants could plan a coup? The senior officers are just as guilty. Half of my guards butchered one another because they suspected treason. As for the real culprit, the coup was staged by the closest to the mistress. Destroying the shuttles, shutting off the power, disabling the security system. Too many things required special access. Access available only to the keeper of the station. As I'm sure you are aware, there are 2 keepers of the station. Your guess is absolutely correct. Theobald Orselio, the tormented old man obsessed with Lady Cassia and her power, and also the one to blame for the woes that have befallen Urak 5 in our noble line. I saw the security captain's report. Only the keepers have access to the station systems, but Theobald stayed at his side. The entire time and could not have initiated the self-destruct protocol. Which means he did it before the report was filed. Or maybe after. Or... Felix's stern face twists in disgust. You dare suspect me of what happened? The one who's going out of his way to preserve what little there is still left? By the God, Emperor, you will keep these slanderous accusations to yourself. Enough. I will not trust you as far as I could throw you, Felix. It really is time to end this. Felix squares his shoulders and gestures to his guards. I was hoping to find an ally in you, but now you are merely delaying the sorrowful end of your story. Prepare to die.
Take a knee and bow before me.
Stand your ground.
Alright, let's place myself here so I can get some cover. Abelard, you go ahead and stay where you're at. Idira... Let's get Idira to some cover here. And nope. Back over. And let's get Argenta some cover as well. Can she not? No, she can't. Damn. Let's go ahead and place her here where she gets better cover from these goons. Alright. Of course, run, you bastard. Dives into space. Missed.
That was insulting!
Alright, well. We now know this guy's a frickin' traitor. And we have the ability to finally use the Psyker things. Guys ready to see some Psyker work going?
Not this Scryer's job.
There we go. Good lightning work. Give me a little bit of forewarning.
Wait,
gives me some better
was that you?
and such.
Or
All misses. Now these guys are the ones going.
My face shields me!
Alright, so I have to have a chance to try to fire at these guys and get rid of them. So let's go with regimental tactics
Suits my
and burst
purposes.
fire. And I missed every shot I took.
Already done.
Let's try it one more time.
I don't have time for this.
Try it once more.
Oh,
With feeling.
too easy.
Well, I hit a guy. So much for being a lieutenant of the Imperial Guard. Alright, go ahead and attack this dude.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time.
And can we charge over to there? No, but we can
It will
charge
be done.
here to get some cover. And
I
then
will
I
do
will
my duty.
endure. And we'll hold off for brace for impact. If she burst fires, she has a chance of hitting me. So let's go ahead and move her over here. I said over here. And then have her burst fire.
None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
Alright, see how she does if I refill her chance. And let's kill
That
her.
is not the Emperor's will.
Direct shot on Felix. That worked. Alright. Okay. Well, it's about as much as we can get out of that. Can she shoot lightning again? She can't see it. Okay. What can she do? If I move her up, she has a chance of her, like, getting shot at more. If I move her here, can her psychic scream reach people? It can. What about her right? Can only hit one person. If we do the psychic scream, we can definitively hit something here or here. Let's go
there
ahead and
is
get rid of some of
movement
these
in
people.
the Imperium.
There we go, psychic shriek, did a lot of damage.
Anything
Give
else?
some forewarning to herself so she can have better dodge. Alright.
Why did I not foresee this?
I will endure.
Alright. Well, time for me to move up to here. Can't get any good burst firing on people. I mean, this guy's got more cover. So I can try to do some burst firing on Bellic and try to do dart damage or take one sure shot and hit him. Let's go ahead and
I
try
shall
for
not
burst fire.
fear.
Okay, well, burst fire didn't work. It was worth a shot, though. So we'll hold off.
Die!
How did he manage to hit me? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and move him here, get the charge action going. Okay, so if he moves here, can he hit? Okay,
It will
so
be
that
done.
works.
An exemplary strike.
Alright. And then we'll
Indeed.
have him endure. Alright, Argenta. If I move her here, will I be able to get some better shots? Yeah, I can hit
The
these two.
enemies of the Emperor will be undone!
Nicely done. That's about all she can do right now, though. Ooh, that hurt. Oh, and I'm down.
I will avenge you.
Well, I hope so.
But of
Do your
course,
lightning stuff. Alright, get over here. Oh, can't do anything else, so let's forewarn
Anything else?
Argenta. Should have moved her. Oh well, let's go ahead and
On
get
it.
some exploits of people.
stop it!
One fewer target.
Alright, Abelard, let's see what you can do. Can't get all the way
My
to
place
me,
is at the
but
fore.
can take some hits. Frontline man, go ahead and do
Someone
things
else
for
can
that as
do
well.
this.
Right. Oh, why did Skip hurt her? Alright, let's get you over here. If I do lightning, I'm probably going to hit Abelard. Yeah. But it could take out all three of these dudes. Abelard's at full
I'm
health.
not
Let's
so
go ahead.
sure.
So she can't see them from doing that. If I move her here, will she be able to see them? That really leave me any real good options.
They who
I have
discern
to
the
take a
future
chance.
own the battlefield.
High momentum.
Okay. Well, that worked. Now let's give some forewarning to Abelard.
Brace yourself, Abelard. We're at a tactical disadvantage.
Okay. So I will move over to here.
Follow
Do a
my
regular
lead.
attack on him.
Reduced to dust.
Can I reach him?
It
I
will be
can.
done.
High momentum.
Wonderful. Took out their leader as well. Last point goes to Endure. Alright, so 2 more left. Can't hit that guy here, but I can still stay in good
I'll do
cover
it.
and fire at this one. Okay.
Doubt is
Work.
for the
Let's
weak.
try to do move over to here and take a shot at you.
God Emperor, move through me! Be the fire in my heart!
Missed again. Damn it. But
Power
We're at full
resides in the will
inspiration.
of the righteous. I'll do it.
try to hit him. Still missed. Fire again.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Damn, she's not doing it. Alright. Fire again at
I'll
this
do it.
one. Good lord.
I refuse.
No luck today. Alright.
My soul shall become
So much
like
for
fire.
good cover.
I go into the Emperor's light, for I am his chosen.
Loss in our ranks.
Awesome. Ranks, of course. Then I will... If I move there, I can't get through. If I move here...
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones.
Right.
Victory is imminent.
Endure. It's just me and the last guy.
I've suffered worse.
I've suffered
I will
worse.
do my duty.
There we go. All down. End of combat. We get back. Wonderful.
Victory awaits.
Yeah, he had a hard-hitting move. Armored body glove, auto pistol, or keeper's control rod, tactical goggles. Not bad. Might hold on to that. And a navigator's staff, which requires us to be a navigator. We'll hold on to that because I believe we're going to be gaining our guys soon. And we will give me the tactical goggles, which is just a nice little eyepiece for me. Alright, let's go ahead and loot these other bodies. Anything special? Auto pistols, las guns, unfading power, which is Argenta stuff, and flag chisels. Okay, well, we'll take all those, sell what we don't need. Not all of that stuff. Anything else over here? Ah, yes, the shotgun. Right, got that. Another las gun. Is that better than my current las gun? That her bolter will be better than any las gun. Yeah, but no, my well-maintained las gun is still better. Okay, good to know.
Follow my lead!
But we are suffering from head trauma, crippled leg, and head trauma. But we have leveled up, see if that helps us. Alright, I will give myself higher ballistic skill and a controlled shot, because I know what those do. And we will apply those for mine. Go over to Abelard, who is a warrior. Give him Reckless Strike. And Athletics. So, for those of you that are wondering, all these statistics and everything over here are directly based off of the Rogue Trader book of RPG, and the way the game works itself in this is on a D100 system. So all rolls and everything are done out of 100. So a character's skill is basically out of 100. So having some of these be like 30 and such, you might think that's not great, but when it comes to certain tests and such, say Abelard making a weapon skill attack for melee, that's 45 points, which is much better than the average human. So that's what that's. And his athletics is 60, so he's very strong, very good with weapons. And Adira's our psyker. We will have her. I know there's some psyker abilities down here. Can't get any more psi ratings. Doing art. Nah, we'll go with some of the recommended stuff here. Let's go with instant exposure, that helps. And then of course we'll make her more intelligent. We will apply. Alright. And last but not least, Argenta. We'll have her up her ballistic skill, which is higher than mine, as you can see, because she's Adeptus Sororitas. And we will also give her a controlled shot. That allows her, if she makes a burst, if I make that controlled shot, if I do that controlled shot ability first, she calls out that she's making a fire, so the rest of her friendly targets will be able to dodge her shots. So that's very helpful. But that is the extent of what we got so far, so it's time to go into the elevator. And slowly make my way over. With a massive head trauma. Oh, it's unlocked.
It's about time.
Time to go up. Oh boy. That's Cassia, the child. The pale figure with unnaturally long limbs stands with her arms raised, her hands deformed with talon-like nails. Her deathly pale face is coated with blood that continuously streams from her scarlet, misted eyes. Her spiny scales... Hold on, guys. There we go. Alright, my stream's still going fine. Streams from her scarlet misted eyes. Her spiny gills, slightly hidden under her disheveled hair, twitch nervously at your approach. Navigators. The distinct ability of the third eye, which allows them to navigate vessels through the warp, but also suffer other mutations. So that's fun. Only now do you notice the third eye in the young woman's forehead, hidden by a jeweled ornament. When your eyes meet, you sense overwhelming, soul-smothering power. Willpower test succeeded. You are enveloped in despairing grief, and an invisible hand closes around your throat, cutting off your breath. Your limbs seem to fill with lead, your heart hammers in your chest, and the desire to turn and flee from this room, from the station, almost gets the better. At the last moment, you master your emotions, and your will pushes back against the illusion, forcing it to retreat. Adira emits something between a moan and a drawn-out whimper. Ow, 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 as if my own little pals weren't bad enough. Now this one's banging into my head. Somebody stop her. Heresy, says Argenta. Argenta looks at the tall figure with a strange mixture of anger and sadness. Then she lowers her head. Her white hair veils her face. Absalon, is this? What vile creature is this? Argenta rid the world of this heresy. Requires iconoclast follow. Overcoming the crushing despair. I know why I am here, so I will stand strong against any illusion. Lady Cassia, I am here to help you. By the Emperor, if you do not stop your sorcery immediately, I will shoot you in the head. Stop your sorcery now, or I've had enough of this. I am an iconoclast character, so let's try it. You direct all of your attention inward, to your heart, currently shackled by another suffering. Under the gaze of your burning inner eye, the despair and pain begin to dwindle. The darkness in your soul dissipates. The lump in your throat shrinks, and you discover that you are standing in front of a bizarre creature. A young woman whose tears you seem to have dried long ahead of you. Along with you. She wearily shakes her head and lets out a drawn-out sound similar to both a sob and a howl of a small wounded animal. What is happening? Was someone calling my name? Are all the betrayers dead already? And you, who are you? I am Edmant Von Valancius. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Pardon my manners, Edmont. I did not expect to take such a gracious acquaintance at such a time of great sorrow for our house. Can you guys stop, crying, please? It's starting to get annoying. What is this? I feel faint. Oh, thank God, that's done. Alright. Let's see all activity. Theobald Orselio, the heavyset old man who has been kneeling nearby, erupts into low sobs. His eyes, swollen from crying, dart desperately around the room as though the veil of ignorance has just been ripped away from them. The child, Lady Cassia, where are you? Sacred child, throne preserve! Despite his venerable age, the navigator leaps up and rushes to the young woman's side. You, the old man shifts, revealing his face to you. It is threaded with black veins, and his bulging, milky eyes bear a striking resemblance to those of a dead fish. A sickly sweet scent assaults your nostrils, as if the old man's flesh is rotting inside his decaying husk. That's vivid. My eyes fail me, for they are unable to make you out as either enemy or ally. I'm warning you, one wrong move will bring the wrath of House Orselio down upon your head. Watch out, Lord Captain, this one is so deranged, it's making the Whisper shriek like crazy. He might just open that eye of his. Threatening the head of a dynasty is a grave offense, esteemed whoever you are. The Lord places a hand on his weapon. At present, I am trying to determine what is happening on Urak 5. I will mean you no harm. I come to seek the navigator's aim. I've already dispatched Felon. Do you want to follow him? Well, that's reassuring. At present, I am trying to determine what is happening to Urak 5. Persuasion test succeeds. I'll grant you that you do not look like pirates who have come coveting the riches of a wrecked station, or like scoundrels of felling services. So who are you? Edmant Von Valancius, rogue trader. Another rogue trader in our corner of the galaxy? How interesting. Your kind always makes an appearance in desperate times, ready to cut a deal that benefits one side alone. Given that you have not so far drawn your weapons, your intentions are probably peaceful. And so, House Orcelio now asks a service of you. Save the life of a child in exchange for future cooperation. Do not hurry to answer. Think on it. You can make yourself an ally or an enemy of our house today. You decide. What is the curse that has taken hold of everyone in this room? You look frightening. What service do you ask of me? I want to know what happened between you and Felon. What is the curse that has taken hold of everyone? Theobald frowns. Curse? You do not understand the sacred gift of given to our child. Look. When the child is sad, we all weep. When the child smiles, we all laugh giddily. And if the child wants blood, the world will turn crimson. The child's will is the will of the great Tisiphone, for she is the heir of House Orcelio. Ooh, she's a powerful navigator. And they call me dangerous with my witchcraft, Adira mutters under her breath. What service do you ask of me? Excuse me, my throat's getting a little dry. Hope glimmers in the navigator's milky eyes. Save the sacred child and take her from this station. I fear I do not have long left. A blush rivulet trickles down the old man's chin and he wipes the mutated blood brusquely away with his sleeve. You glimpse strange burns covering his flesh under his clothing. The slightest movement must be causing him unbearable pain. Save the child and deliver her safely to Regent Oronto, acting head of House Orcelio in the Coronis Expanse. Rest assured that the reward will be worth your effort. I know we came here for the navigator, but after everything we've seen, I got some revelations about this girl. Argento looks at Cassie and a painful furrow appears on her brow. Such a fragile thing with such a heavy burden upon her shoulders. You are talking as though you expect to die here. I want to know what happened between you and Felix. You are talking as if you expect him to die. My service to the house is coming to an end. The wounds Felix inflicted on my flesh will never heal. I am dying, praise the throne, slowly enough to see that the child is taken care of. You need help. There's a Medicaid deck on my ship. No, I am the keeper of Urac 5 and I will perish along with my station. On that note, I have other matters to attend to. I want to know what happened between you and Felix. Felix is my wayward student. He came to Urac 5 as a callow youth. I personally mentored him and entrusted him with the care of the child. He was like a son to me, but he proved to be just another traitor. He sought to steal our most precious treasure, the heir of our house, our sacred child, to revel in the power with others like him, casting our house into the abyss, to avert the centuries-long traditions of our families. Sounds like I'm making the right choice. You can see the fruits of his villainy for yourself. He had decided he was not bound by his duties to the legacy of the greatest Novators. Novators? What are Novators? A patriarch or matriarch that rules over a navigator house. Ah, the figurative and often biological father or mother of a dynasty. Tisiphone Orcelio. Who led our house to prosperity for countless years. Foolish boy, the renegades clouded its mind. They sought to seize the control of the dynasty before the sacred child had come of age and taken up the Novators throne. How could you lose control of your own station? Do not thrust my arrows in my face. I am twice your age and twice as wide. Take my advice. Trust no one but yourself and the Emperor. Even those closest to you will betray you for gold, power, or a far-fetched idea of a bright future. Felix accused you of treachery, Theobald. Why should I trust your words? Defending myself before strangers. I never thought I would fall so low. The old man looks at the unmoving Cassie and shakes his head in resignation. If the child's life were not at stake, very well, I have no choice, or proof of my innocence. I could give you my word as a member of the Novice Nobilite. If the honest word of an honorable man counts for anything with me, I guarded this station against calamity and curses from without to the best of my ability. I forced the wardens to strictly observe security protocols. I personally selected every servant, and I faithfully protected the child during the game. I believe I have made my decision. Is that so? Please share your thoughts. Cassio shall come with me. Good. That is good. The old man nervously licks his lips. But do allow us to say our proper farewells.
Wake up, my mistress, my sacred child. It is all over now. It is over.
Oh, now there's voice acting.
What happened? You. I remember you. Have you come to save us?
Child, please, listen to me very carefully. One last time. You will now embark on a voyage with this lord to rejoin the house and its regent in the Corollas Expanse. I will not be able to accompany you on this journey.
Another trickle of blue blood runs down the old man's face, this time from his nose and ear.
No! Not you too! Don't leave me alone in this violet-brown haze! You're coming with me! Your mistress is giving you an order. Do you hear me?
A hot wave of despair that is not yours washes over you. Your palms sweat and your heart freezes in panic.
Mistress, I fear this will be your only order that I dare to disobey. I am the keeper of Yurak 5, and alas, I have less than a day in me. Allow me to serve you one last time and honor my final duty to House Orselio. I will remain on the station and destroy the secrets it holds.
Oh, Theobald.
The crimson tears stain the Lady Navigator's white skin once again, but this time her power does not make everyone weep along with her. I regret we had to meet under such circumstances.
What need have I for your regrets? I just want things to go back to the way they were before.
Cassia looks sorrowfully at the destruction around her.
What are you going to do to me?
Alright, several options. If you wish to leave the station alive, you must first sign a contract. You will undertake to serve as my navigator until I release you from that obligation. Lady Cassia, I, Edmant Von Valancius, rogue trader of the Imperium a man, offer you my protection and grant you shelter aboard my vessel. And Lady Cassia, let us aid one another. Become my navigator and I shall restore you to House Orselio at the earliest opportunity. Let's go with the noble I, Edmant Von Valancius. Okay, no more voice acting. Okay. Do not fear what is to come, child. You are ready to guide any vessel. I know this because I taught you myself, and it is difficult to imagine more worthy company than a rogue trader. But remember, your safety is of paramount importance. Get to the great regent and fulfill your destiny.
I beg your pardon, but what about my servants? Yurak 5 is still full of people loyal to House Orselio.
I will provide you with every necessity. Naturally, this includes your servants.
As a Lady Navigator of House Orselio, I accept your gracious offer of protection. Please, take me to your vessel. I can no longer bear the pain of this place.
Alright, there's some things we can do before we leave, and she has joined our party. Very cool. So we have a full-on navigator in our group. Not available for biography, but let's go with... Oh, she's officer, so let's go with fellowship. And then... Oh, there's so many choices, but I know she's probably not going to be the greatest when it comes to combat. But she will be helpful with other things. So let's go ahead and give her up in her fellowship. Do that one. Commanding voice. Her willpower is already pretty good, so let's up that fellowship again. Nice. purely a support class, I see. It's as if the painting was rendered by several different hands. The timid, uncertain lines are interlaced with rough and furious strokes, coming together in arcane shapes. Interesting. While no one appears to be living in the cave, somebody still filled the trough with dried fruit and fresh water. Interesting.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Nothing else seems to really stand out for my guy, so... Oh, wait. Spoke too soon. Luxurious feast was left untouched. And stuffed crabs. Anything else? Alright, then here we go. Let's set up the formations to be better. Instead of that, let's set this up a little bit better. Have my heavy hitters up front, put these two bringing up the rear. Okay.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Collect everything else, let's leave. Alright, back to the ship. After the next cutscene, I'm going to take a few minute break, and then I'll be back. I want to keep going until about 9, so... As long as everybody else that's watching enjoys, I'm happy, so... And of course, if you guys have any questions about lore, or anything of significance, about like the Warhammer 40K universe, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Look at me in my big chair. Lord Captain, Lady Navigator, welcome aboard. The Sanctum Navis has been prepared for the communion ritual. But if the Lady Navigator wishes to rest in her quarters first... Your heart starts beating furiously, your breath comes short and choppy, and your fingertips tingle unpleasantly. You notice that Vigdis is shivering slightly, and the crew are glancing around in puzzlement, searching for the source of this sudden wave of unease. Without even looking at the Voxmaster, Cassia waves her away. First, I wish to speak to the rogue trader. Leave us. Of course. When you are ready for the ritual, please let me know. Cassia sweeps her pensive gaze over Vigdis, then, lowering her lashes slightly, turns to you. What did you wish to speak about? Tell me more about the ritual entails. First you will do your duty as navigator. All other conversations can wait. I do not want to speak to you. Go to the Sanctum Navis now. Jesus. What did you wish to speak about? After a few seconds hesitation, Cassia lets out a small exhale and raises her pointed chin. I have not yet thanked you for saving me on the station. My thoughts were clouded with so much mournful ash when Theobald's heart stopped, but you acted honorably and did not exploit me in my wretched position. For that, I am immeasurably grateful. But now, Cassia throws back her shoulders, I am ready to go to the Sanctum Navis and perform the sacred rite. I require brushes, canvas, and the best paints you have on board, but no red. Why are you asking for these items? Now is not the time to indulge in painting. Tell me more about the ritual entails. Why do you refuse red paint? I shall ensure that all the necessary replies are delivered to the Sanctum Navis. I am not going to waste time satisfying these ones. Before the ritual. Tell me what the ritual entails. I doubt the uninitiated could understand the mysteries of navigation, but I shall try to explain the essence of it. I must merge my mind and will with the machine spirit of the ship, so that I become one with the vessel. Cassia lifts a lock of hair from the back of her neck, revealing gilded implant ports. After that, I use the House Orcelio ritual, which I am loath to reveal to you, to free my mind of all errant thoughts, and then it is time to open my third eye and peer into the depths of the warp itself. Among the nightmares, visions, mirages, and creatures of the abyss, only the light of the Emperor is the truth that will lead me from star to star, from system to system. Oh, the light, the guiding thread so fine it can slip from one's grasp at any moment. Cassia unfurls her hands as though dropping something. But you have nothing to worry about. The navigators of House Orcelio never lose their course. Why are you asking for these items? No, now's not the time, blah 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 blah. Why do you refuse red paint? It is my habit to use the blood of my attendants so as to preserve my own. However, given the current circumstances, my own will serve even better. The blood of Navis Nobilite is sacred, and so is more suitable for the communion ritual. I shall ensure that all the necessary supplies are delivered to the Sanctum Navis. Cassia nods in thanks. I shall take my leave of you for the duration of my ride. I ask that you do not follow me if you can survive the gaze of my warpine words. Alright, and with that... Oh, somebody else is approaching me. Lord Captain, I will oversee the open channel between the Lady Navigator and the bridge, and may the Emperor's light help us all. The Voxcaster in the Sanctum Navis picks up the serration of clothes, pious chanting, and the metallic clicking of implants. Then the serene voice of the Lady Navigator breaks the silence, initiating communion ritual. You hear the exultant ring of metal freed from its scabbard. Then the stifled gasp of the Lady Navigator, the rhythmic drip of liquid on canvas, and the faint whisper of a brush. I see violet vortexes lashing an ocean with a million flails, and umber shadows spinning over the surface in a fiery dance, a storm rising above foaming waters, armadas drowning in fog. The path from one end to another cannot be seen. And here, beyond the wall of glass, a daughter forsaken by her father yearns for her brother, and the sun's pale disk goes in tireless pursuit. Of her? No, of me. Its frozen rays lie that spring is here. The light is deadened. The great ruler is gone. The Voxmaster recoils at Cassia's words and accidentally snaps one of the cogitator levers. The panel beneath her fingers emits sparks, and the Voxcaster falls silent. She quickly flips a series of switches and bows guiltily. My abject apologies for cutting off the broadcast, Lord Captain. I have never heard the warp speaking through a navigator before. The connection is restored now. It will not happen again. Boxmaster, see to it that you see 5 lashes for the show of clumsiness. What is happening to Cassia? Cassia, are you alright in there? Leave the Lady Navigator undisturbed. Cassia, are you alright? Soul-shredding screams drown out the Vox transmission. The servants in the Sanctum Navis are howling and shrieking like wild beasts, moaning in pain, their throats raw from the strain, and then, sudden silence. The dull thud of dropping bodies proclaimed their fate. It appears the servants were part of the Lady Navigator's rites, as it was for her predecessor. I will arrange for the bodies to be removed from the Sanctum Navis after the ritual, or what is left of it. Rogue Trader, I fear I have unfortunate news. Endless blackness has spread across the canvas, dividing what should be whole in two, and my sight cannot glimpse the light of the Emperor as clearly as before. I cannot turn around my brush, only draws me on. The way is blocked. You hear a heavy exhale, rustling fabric, and metallic clicking. By the Emperor's grace, the ritual was successful. Your vessel's temperament presented a challenge. Its cold steel grip did not allow me to breathe freely even for a second. It was as if the depths of the ship housed not only machine spirits, but something other. Now I will retreat to my chamber to recover my strength. Send for me if you have need of me. Lord Captain, congratulations on requiring a navigator. Spare me a few moments of your time, please. There are several matters that require your attention. First of all, I want to report on the condition of Station Urak V. Had you opted to begin your visit to the Ryket system with a different destination, the station could have become critically unstable. Fortunately, the decision to immediately visit the representatives of the Navis Nobilite bought us precious time. We can either send our forces to disassemble the station and procure technological components for our own vessel, or attempt to save as many valuables as we can. I will not stoop to a pillaging. Abandon the station we are leaving. Gather any components that may be of use on the ship. Loot everything from jewelry to the very last manuscript. This is a Navis Noble lighthouse. Let's not go pillaging. With your permission, I would also like to remind you that we are still looking for an engine Seer Prime. Both the vessel and its machine spirits are in desperate need of oversight by an experienced technician. We also are missing some crew, and much more importantly, we have not yet located Heinrich von Kallax, the right hand of the Lord Inquisitor. Now we know for sure he is not at Uruk 5, so keep this in mind while making any future plans. Why is it always business with you, Vignes? Couldn't you sometimes just visit and tell me how wonderful everything is? Thank you, Vignes. This will be all for now. As it pleases you, Captain. Alright. Right now, everybody, I am going to take a quick break because I need to get to the bathroom and such. Got some things to take care of, and then I'll be back after about 5-10 minutes. Not even that. So I will be right back. See you all soon. Alright, well, I am back. I see that we've only gotten to a few viewers once again, which is all good. If I will take this moment now, so if you're watching my VOD on Twitch, I really appreciate you spending time with me and us watching and playing games together and just talking about lore. If you like my stuff, please follow me here on Twitch or tell your friends about me and just come follow and just have fun with a bunch of nerds. I also am uploading all of my VODs onto my own YouTube now, which is also at Teleron20. And if you haven't already, I have a Facebook as well. I update my stuff very frequently on there about my schedules and such coming up. So, thank you all for watching. Let's get back into the game. Alrighty then. Well, only one more place that we can really go. Uh-oh. Lord Captain, there is commotion on the officer's deck. The Lady Navigator has left her quarters and is currently in the wardroom, where uninitiated crew members are shunning her in terror. Perhaps you should find out what has brought Cassia to the deck. Well, one of the edicts of the ecclesiarchies is that you should fear the mutant because they are susceptible to the arch enemy. And so mutants, for the most part, are pretty much shunned unless they are previously granted rights as, like, welcome in the Imperium. The Nobilites, Navigator Nobilites, are usually those that are seen with good grace, somewhat, but being able to see into the warp, a lot of people just try to stay away from them. Psychers are viewed as, like, possible people that could just erupt into terrible magical power, or, for those that know, able to turn into demons. So we don't want to deal with that shit. And then most other mutants hear the voices of chaos very clearly, so try to stay away from them. But there are some mutants that are good, like the Ogrins or the Ratlings.
Lord Captain, my apologies. I did not notice your entrance.
It pleases me to see you adjusting to life aboard the ship. Alas, a title alone is not enough to hold everyone's attention all the time. Point at the book in Cassie's hand. I see you are fond of reading. What do you think you are doing here? I did not give you permission to leave the bridge. It pleases me to see you adjusting to life aboard.
Compared to Urak 5, your ship is a boundless world of unfamiliar hues. And yet, the abundance of bright colors can at times be wearisome on the eyes. The bridge and the decks are so clamorous. In my search for a place of quiet, I was fortunate to come upon this islet of serenity filled with rare tomes and practically devoid of color.
The events that took place on Urak 5 must have shaken you greatly. Are you well?
One should not underestimate the navigators of House Orselio, Lord Captain. Like a shawl of pale smoke, a faint malaise hangs upon my shoulders, but it will not be the slightest hindrance to my duty to humanity, and my duty to you.
Are you satisfied with your new attendants?
Your servants are somewhat sluggish when it comes to attending a noblewoman of the Navis nobility, but they are quite tolerable. Thank you for your concern.
I should have probably picked a different choice. Oh well. Cassia cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornment on her forehead, and then awkwardly hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The unnatural appearance of the navigators often becomes the topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It is clear that she does not feel comfortable aboard a ship teeming with new people. Poor thing. I hope that you have made ample time to calm yourself and your powers. No, that's just rude. I see you are fond of reading.
Oh, this. I found this fascinating read on one of the shelves, and I must say, it has caught my eye. Its every chapter is written in verse. I find it so beautiful and enrapturing.
A collection of works by the Cadian naval commander and poet, alias Quint.
Urak 5 had a vast archive of its own, of course. Although most of the works within had to do with scholarly disciplines of some sort or another. Only in my sparse moments of respite was I allowed to escape into the pages of more embellished works.
I hope that you've had ample time to calm yourself and your powers.
There are people on this ship who are far more impulsive and dangerous to others, and far less devoted to the God Emperor than a herald of the Navis nobility. But I did not need your words to see the shades of umber unease that whirl around your subjects whenever I am near. Were I not acquainted with such a reaction, I could have found their behavior and your question just now insulting. Lord Captain, would you kindly explain to me why you are pestering me with these questions? Inquiring about my mood and my needs, showing an interest in the books I am enjoying? You are behaving as if you possessed a shred of fellow feeling for one such as I. I beg your pardon, Lord Captain. That was no way for a navigator to conduct herself.
Cassia covers her own mouth, pales and blushes, then pales again. I am beginning to think, Lady Cassia, that the feelings I have for you are more complicated than common sympathy. You have nothing to apologize for. Human emotions are natural, be they good or bad. It is just as natural to share them with others. Quite right. So I would ask that you would mind what you say from now on. It is indeed difficult for me to feel empathy for a mutant. However, the crew's well-being hinges on that of its navigator. I believe this conversation has reached its natural conclusion. My goodness. Human emotions are natural, be they good or bad, and it's just as natural to share them with others.
Please forgive me. I cannot even understand myself right now. Your words and attention have reminded me of life on the station, of Theobald and Felek. I do not understand. They were merely the keepers of Urak 5. So why do memories of those two make me feel a strange heaviness here? At the same time, I find myself overwhelmed with new excitement and anticipation. At last, I have set foot outside my familiar walls, and into a world that I have only seen before in the pages of books. Your ship alone is a treasure trove of remarkable artifacts and curiosities. And just imagine the things that await beyond, but... My delight must seem childish to you, surely. In your heart, you must be finding all this quite amusing.
So there are several things, but I've noticed out of the corner of my eye, I believe one of these is like leading towards a flirtation. I would not dare to make fun of a lady's feelings, especially not one who has captivated me since I first set eyes on her. We'll see how that goes. I would rather we find amusement elsewhere, perhaps in the privacy of my chamber. Dude. What I find childish is your manner of addressing me, as if I were your friend, and your mistaken belief that anyone here would be interested in hearing about your emotional tone. I understand what you're going through. My own life was turned upside down not too long ago. I am not in the habit of finding amusement at the expense of my people. Just remember to keep your emotions in check. I'm afraid I must return to my duties. I understand what you're going through. My own life was turned upside down not too long ago.
Indeed. I did not know. That is to say, I could not have known, as it is the first time we are speaking in a circumstance so... private. My word, when I found this place, it was so full of officers. Why did they all leave?
If I may be so bold as to presume, my subjects must have found themselves overcome by your rare beauty, as have I. As I have. Same thing. Is it so bad that we are enjoying each other's company, or would you prefer to proceed straight to my chamber? Good lord, dude! I do not tolerate idlers on my ship, and my officers know it well. Perhaps my people did not wish to serve you. I am afraid I must return. Well, let's... if I may be so bold.
Words like that, Lord Captain, could easily be misconstrued. You should familiarize yourself with some of the works in your library to learn the appropriate manner of conversing with a lady.
Oh my. Covers the burning face and swiftly exits the room. Right then. Oh. Curtsies to me first. Then, okay. But there is... Just looking at my fiancé. An admirer who seeks the favor of a refined lady is well advised to maintain pointed courtesy and finesse in his every deed. An honorable admirer will never defile a noble lady's ears with crude or indecent words, and neither will he allow himself conduct that could besmirch her honor and dignity. Above all, the admirer should remember that a relationship begins with the right choice of words. Shower your lady with compliments that will accentuate her finest qualities without putting her in a position of discomfort. A word chosen elegantly and spoken with genuine warmth may bring about a change in the lady's eyes as she looks upon you. Once your interaction has grown more intimate, always be sure to remember the simple rules of etiquette. For example, should the lady drop her handkerchief, the deepest expression of sympathy for her would be to perform this following gesture. Pick up the handkerchief, wait a brief moment, then bring the handkerchief to your lips and touch it lightly before returning it to the lady. This noble gesture will assure the lady of the seriousness of your intentions. Remember that the flower bud of true feeling takes time to blossom. Patience, loyalty, and impeccability, and adhering to the decorums of the nobility is key to earning the lady's favorable disposition. My, going to hang on to that. I believe that is all that has happened here. Yep. All right. Back to the page. Once again, welcome to the stream. We are playing Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader. And every now and then, if you have questions about anything about the lore or certain situations, ask me. I have a big repertoire of Warhammer 40K knowledge, and I also have the RPG game, tabletop game, that this game is based on. So I have DM'd several things within the same universe, so I know that. And let's see, how are we doing on time? I got about 50 more minutes, so I don't want to take up too much time. Let's go talk with our high factotum. Yes, we've heard about this man. High factotum generous Dadrock. The corpulent man in lavish clothes bows before you, not without difficulty. The service skull lowers over his shoulder, while the fingers of his augmented hand drum against the sheaf of papers he's holding. And he regards you with the attentive interest through the lens of his magnifying implant. Greetings, your lordship. Generous Dadrock at your service. Remind me, what it is that you do on this ship? As the High Factotum, my duties encompass anything that might enrich you and your protectorate. I see to it... I think I just saw a message pop up, but I did not catch it. Nope, no new messages. Okay. I see to it that the suppliers deliver all shipments on time, that our partners do not weasel out of their promises, and all servants remember that the Emperor's grace can only be earned through toil for the good of the Von Valancius dynasty. I also make arrangements to ensure that our hold receives less than thorough inspections by the port customs officers, and I find buyers for whatever you wish to sell. How did you come to serve the Von Valancius dynasty? I come from Dargonus, your lordship. I have been subject of your dynasty since birth, and have always strived to be of use to the great rogue trader. Alas, it was not my fate to be the primary heir of my own family due to my being 15th in line for the title. So I decided not to stand in the way of those behind me in case they attempted to shorten the waiting list at my expense. While my brothers and sisters schemed against each other, I studied the exact sciences and mastered bookkeeping, the greatest art of the Adeptus Administratum. Oh god, bureaucracy at its finest. I must admit that the accumulation of wealth, something one can control, is far more exciting than hunting, carousing, and the other traditional amusement of my noble peers. What was it like working with Theodora? Oh, now that's a tricky question. Your Lordship, do you ask it of everyone, knowing they risk losing their head should they let slip a careless remark about your predecessor? I shall put it thus. Working with Lady Theodora was never boring and always profitable. The Imperium has billions of subjects, but very few do what they love and what they are best suited to. I would say Lady Theodora was one of the fortunate. She was a model of rogue trader, and she surrounded herself with those who excelled at and loved their work. Hers was a rare talent indeed. God, posh man is he this day? I wish to know what you think of your fellow crew members. Keeping tabs on your subordinates? A wise move. Tell me, who interests you, and I'll endeavor to be as honest as possible. Janrith's eyes light up. He is obviously eager to speak his mind. A hot gossip. Tell me what you think of Seneschal Abelard Versari. Lady Theodora managed to do what even the Imperial Navy could not. Teach Master Versarian to carry out orders that he fundamentally disagrees with. I do not know what methods she used, but the result is impressive. Having said that, there is something else you need to know, Lord Captain. Your Seneschal is capable of being something far greater than a mere conduit to roll with. He possessed the cunning and experience to run the Protectorate passively whenever Lady Theodora was away, and that really is saying something. Keep an eye on that old officer. I say, or alternatively, turn him into a faithful ally. I'd like to hear your opinion on Conrad Whitebeard, the former Master of Whispers, the traitor that ended up overthrowing the ship. I hope I never see him set foot aboard this vessel again, not even as a servitor. Although he would be able to do that at least some good that way. Someone has to clean the latrines, after all. The factotum's bloated face grows stern. He gave us all quite a fright on that ill-fated day, Lord Captain. And still, to speak candidly, I never enjoyed Master Voigtbeer's company, but I believed him to be a man who knew how to do his job. Regretfully, I was mistaken. It turned out Conrad lacked the most important quality for a Master of Whispers, unwavering loyalty to the road trade. And his failing came to light in the most deplorable manner. What do you have to say about Voxmaster Vigdis Ptolemy? Ah, yes, the Voidborn. You know, in my family, we used such creatures as quarry whenever we went hunting. Oh, good God. Mutants are the bane of humanity, an unseen tumor that threatens to end us all. But I digress. In the brief time Ptolemy has spent in post as Voxmaster, I have not noticed any significant flaws in her character or anything that would make me question her professional qualities. Needless to say, she is very diligent, as is any Voidborn seeking to earn their master's affection. I believe you could trust in her abilities and loyalty. I wish to discuss something else. As you say, Your Lordship, I want to know more about the people who buy our plunder. Of course, Lord Captain. Who interests you? We most often deal with the followers of St. Drusus, the Explorators, the Casablanca Mission, or, Emperor forgive us, the Fellowship of the Void. What do the followers of St. Drusus acquire from us? The Drusians still hope to bring the Coronis Expanse into the warm embrace of the faith, just as their flock hopes to receive the aid of the Drusian missionaries. Each crate of food, shipment of clothes, or box of medicine marked with your seal is a sign the rogue trader himself believes in the sect's future success. Reverend Hieronymus is the first among the Driftons and is most often seen in Footfall's grand atrium. A gloomy fellow, but some almost believe him to be a saint. Tell me more about the Explorators. Members of the Explorator Cognizance fleet, which has been roaming the Coronis Expanse for a good while now. Omnissiah knows what they are hoping to find, but their acolytes regularly show up on uninhabited worlds, seeking bits of sacred knowledge, tracking down mechanical relics, and sniffing out xeno artifacts if truth be told. Supposedly, they want to save the ignorant rabble from corruption. A tech priest named Opticon22 does business with us on the fleet's behalf. He can be found on the docks of Footfall. I am interested in the Casabilica mission. Masters of the cold trade, immoral criminals, and notorious crooks to the last. The mission is but one branch of this mafia gang that has taken root in the Calixis sector. You can do business with them as long as you take the necessary precautions. They are led by Vladam Takara, who recently appointed himself Liege of Footfall. Of course, he is a trusted ally of rogue trader Windscale, but he will not refuse you. Another of the Emperor's anointed. If you wish to talk to Vladam, look for him in the Liege's house of Footfall. What is this, Followers of the Void? Janris emits a laugh like gurgle. A pompous name, is it not? In truth, they are a gang of pirates who are forever squabbling over loot and territory. However, some of their little flotillas need supplies, or can take awkward cargo off our hands without asking questions. Of course, there's always a risk that those scoundrels will change their mind and attempt to board us instead, but so far our macro cannons have managed to keep them in line. They say Riza Calvaria speaks on the Fellowship's behalf. The Adeptus Amescus on Footfall is rumored to be her favorite haunt. What are we giving away, why are we giving away our spoils to these people in the first place? To profit from them, of course. Most of these things you will find during your expeditions are complete junk to one such as yourself. But the less fortunate and affluent servants of the Emperor think them treasures, especially when they are bestowed by the great rogue trader himself. Russians, fanatics, and pirate cutthroats, Casabilica dealers and explorators, none will refuse our help in these dark and trying times. And there may come a time when we shall be the ones requiring aid, and it will be beneficial to have allies willing to provide it. I suggest we change the subject. Certainly, Lord Captain. A moment.
What are you talking about, Lord Captain? Look, Lady Theodora couldn't care less if some eggheads measured my brains or not. It's not about the seal on your forehead, get it? It's about what's in your gut, if it's rotten or not. My gut's stronger than the adamantine on this here ship. And my implants are better than the ones they put in you on your Terra. If they weren't, I wouldn't have lived as long as I have. Lyra, an outlying world in the Heathen Stars region. In the Coronis Expanse, the deeper you go, the less visible the Astronomicon gets, and the less people know about the Imperium. The arrival of a rogue trader is the best thing that can happen to a world like that. The very best. It's an out-of-the-way planetoid between two faint stars. On Lyra, a dozen local tyrants fight over 5 measly continents.
And I just
but they
realized
use
that my
everything they can
microphone's
to
been
win,
off, so I apologize.
from poison to psychers. I haven't been there in many years, but there's nothing for me to miss. Trust me.
Thank you all for your patience with me as I'm getting used to it. And I am also getting some more equipment here in the near future. So, I am very happy to see that.
But here on the ship is a different story altogether. I saw more wonders in my first year serving Lady Von Valancius than I'd seen in my whole life on Lyra. Like my first journey through the warp, I was in bed for 3 days. I felt like supernovas were exploding in my head. I only found out later that I'd gotten off easy. Just through the bulkhead in the bay next to mine, a whole team turned into... Look at me rambling on, Lord Captain. Pay no attention.
You never finished a story about the first time crossing into the wall.
It wasn't like it was a very fun trip, Lord Captain. But look, if you want to be entertained, I'm the woman for the job. I'll entertain you with one of the stories from my collection, no problem. But if you want to hear about the time I melted everyone in the bay next door, well, I just don't really want to go into the details on that one, all right?
You see, sanction psychers would have been protected against that. What did you do before you came to be on the ship?
Oh, I embroidered wall hangings in honor of our national heroes. I did the same thing I do here, Lord Captain. Divining. Our rulers prized the ability to see into the future. Every psyker that could be found was worth a small fortune on Lyra. There's no such thing as a peaceful life on Lyra. People like me were especially sought after. They'd pick psychers up wherever they found them, buy kids off their parents, even just abduct them. Take me, for instance. I got taken from my street gang. The older kids sold me when they noticed there was something off about me. The ruling dynasties had schools where they trained us and beat us black and blue. And then they packed us off to serve. Some of us held on for a long time, but others didn't last. Not everyone's as smart and talented as me, you know. Some people crossed the line and were out of commission before their time.
Adira looks at you expectantly, then as though clarifying, she uses her hands to indicate a head exploding and laughs. How did you end up in the Rogue Trader service?
Theodora von Valancius paid a visit to the ruler I was serving at the time. I don't know what the visit was for, and it's no business of mine anyway. I can still remember the way the voices in my head changed when I looked at her. They were practically screaming. She had so much behind her, and plenty ahead of her too. As I gawped at her, all of a sudden I heard a whisper. A hint, a suggestion, nothing more. But I know the difference between idle chatter and a real threat. I seized my chance and approached Theodora. I managed to whisper a couple of words in her ear before the wardens dragged me away. They beat me and locked me up. No wonder. It wasn't my place to converse with outsiders. And then Theodora's people came for me. They broke down the wall, butchered the guards. Also, I could tell them my warning in full. So I said the rest, but I didn't want to go back to my old life. And so I entered the service of the Von Valancius dynasty.
Have you ever been off the ship?
A few times. Not many. And if I think about it, why would I want to? I've got everything I need here. All the whispers I hear are familiar ones. They almost feel like family. And if I want to hear about the nightmares off the ship, I can. after some Amasek. But don't go getting the wrong idea. If I have to, I'll follow you to the edge of the galaxy.
Alright, let's talk about something else.
Of course, Lord Captain.
What's it like being a psyker?
Lord Captain, forgive me, but it would be like talking to a person born blind about colors. I could spend hours explaining, but it wouldn't make any sense to you. Every psyker feels their connection with the warp in their own way. One person might see spots and shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another feels fingers running down their spine. As for me, I've got a door in my head. One that's open just a crack. There's no way to close it, no matter how hard I try. I've just had to get used to the whispers from the other side. When I need to use it for work, I listen in more closely. But I usually just try not to notice it.
How do you live with this whispering in your head?
Training, habit, and a little Amasek and a couple other things you can get on the lower decks. If you put all those together, it makes things bearable. Sometimes I even wonder if I'm imagining half the voices I hear. You know, when life on board gets a little boring. Better than listening to the living, anyhow.
So, she gets drunk, and a couple other things you can get on the lower. So other drugs or something. That is not safe. What would happen if your door burst open?
Well, if the door opens, that means somebody's planning to come in, right? But screw them. They're not coming through. Trust me. I know how to keep my valuable head locked up tight.
Aren't you afraid of losing control?
Only losers who are afraid of their own gift lose control. Or idiots who never figure out what they are before it's too late. Or little kids who want to play around with their shiny new toy. If you don't know the limits of your abilities, or you're always bouncing around in your own head, that's a recipe for disaster.
Can you see my future?
All right. That's what I'm here for, after all. So, I'm just going to lean on that door in my head a little more, prick up my ears, and listen to what the warp's got to say about you. If you'll allow it, I can listen right now.
Sure.
All right. Let's hear what they're whispering about you.
Adira laughs, rubs her hands together, and suddenly freezes with a vacant smile on her face. Her head slightly tilted. You feel goosebumps appear on your skin. Your collar begins to waver ever so slightly, as if moved by a breeze from a half-open door.
Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know that it is not the answer he must seek, but the question that will draw everything into focus. Will you help him, Rogue Trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion.
Interesting.
A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, but sparks in the scent of oil confound his nose. The chain trails after him. What will happen if you pick it up? Will you become his master, or merely another beast in the pack of his true lord? The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. Cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it? I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
Did you know Theodora Von Valancius well?
None of the officers knew the Lord Captain well. Not even Abelard, and she was always closer to him than anyone else. She told me from the off that if I ever listened to anything in the warp about her without her permission, I'd be going out through the airlock. I'm not an idiot, so I never stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Only when I was asked. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that she's gone. Lady Von Valancius gave me everything I have. She opened the stars to me and the paths between them. I still think I can hear her voice.
Things are strained between you and Argenta, isn't that right?
The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices. Ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head.
Got a new story for me, Adira?
You bet I do, Lord Captain. Okay, so we went to Footfall once. So they sat down and the cards were dealt. I'm hovering around like I'm not involved, but I'm keeping my eye on things. And everything in my head keeps getting louder and louder. Anyway, it's a good thing I realized in time that my mind wasn't going haywire over a losing hand, but something else. I made some excuse to drag the Lord Captain up from the table and took her away from that place. And a few minutes later, the room where we'd been... It turned out some wise guy had the same bright idea to bring a pet psyker along with him. One of those ones who just scuttle around in Footfall's underbelly. And the psyker just freaked out, I guess. After all the commotion, people went to see what happened in the room. And they'd all gone for each other's throats. Literally. With teeth. And I think they completely detached that asteroid from Footfall and pushed it off into open space so it would head off toward the local star.
Yes, let's laugh at the death of many. Alright, I must take my leave.
Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
It's very dangerous to have an unsanctioned psyker, especially with her viewpoints. I'm all for freedom of mind, always have been and always will be. But when it comes to 40K, not being dogmatic and like heavily set when it comes to being a psyker, you've got to be very careful with that mindset. Otherwise, you're going to end up not only hurting yourself, but hurting everybody around. The whispers of chaos are seductive, to say the least. So, is there anything else I can talk with? There is Cassia, but I believe we should get at least started in the right direction. But it is 8:30. I have been streaming for about 3 hours 45 minutes. So I think this is a good place to stop for tonight, actually. So let me just save my progress. And if anybody has any questions or anything, please let me know. Other than that, we will just end the stream here for today. Thank you all for joining me today. I had a great time continuing playing. I'm going to happily play some more in the future and play some other games and such as well. I will be streaming my D&D games in the future, probably in the mid of February after I'm finished with my move. So once I get there, I'll have a better setup and everything when I'm over. So that'll be much better. I am getting some better equipment, like a new microphone, new camera, a lot of different stuff to help me with streaming in the near future. So thank you all for having patience. I know I have a few technical issues to deal with here and there, but I am happy that you're all sticking around and just spending time with me. I have my Twitch streams. All of my VODs get published right after the stream. And of course, I upload my VODs onto my YouTube at Toleron20. Excuse me. And also, I have a Facebook account under Toleron Rollin. Parentheses Toleron20 spelled out. I make regular updates of what I'm doing with the channel or what I stream there. So, other than that, thank you all for joining, and I had a blast playing and reading along with you guys. Maybe next time I'll delve more into the Rogue Trader book and see how it goes from there. Thank you. Have a great night.